Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again and again and again. Episode 203.
Oh, my.
We're excited, very excited this week because we're back into the brain damage sports, and it's a wrestling episode, everybody. So what does that tell you? That tells you it's going to be crazy. You're going to have debauchery, insanity, and there's full of debauchery and horrible behavior and drugs and self-sabotage, and it's wonderful. This is everything that Crime and Sports is in an episode right here, all-encompassing. Before we get to that, though, just want to thank everybody for everything you've done, of course, for us this past week. Thank you guys for all your reviews, first of all. We're not sure why. We don't know. It's not up to us. We don't work for Apple Podcasts, but that purple icon, we don't understand why, but that helps drive you up the charts if you get reviews on that. So give us 5 stars if you haven't yet, and say something. Doesn't matter. Say it's dark in here. They won't let me out until I write this. Right. That's fine. It works just the same. So thank you very much for doing that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
It's there.
It's there for all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs. And listen to Small Town Murder if you're not listening to that. It's us making fun of a murder in a small town the same way we would a wrestler with a crack problem. Same way. Yeah. So check that out. Listen to that. Get all of your merchandise and get your tickets to live shows for whenever the hell those are going on here.
Those might happen.
I think we just rescheduled.
We did.
We just rescheduled the Boston and New York shows for August.
Yes.
So those are going to be in August now.
The third weekend,
I think so. Your tickets are still good. They'll transfer. But I think in the fall, we're looking at pretty much August on, hopefully being able to do those shows. Fine. So buy your tickets. Get them now and check that out.
Did we already move July? What was in July?
I don't remember. Check the website.
It's all there.
Well, yeah, it's all there.
Damn it, it's so confusing.
They moved Nashville, the Crime and Sports live show. I don't know where they moved that to. Check.
It's moved.
Check.
Look
check
under the
shutupandgivememurder.com. It's somewhere. They did reschedule the new Nashville live show, so we will be that. It's still going on. Nashville live show. Don't worry about that. I think that might be in August as well. I'm not sure. We're cramming. We had a month off, and now it's nothing. So
and August is going to be fire, and we're going to be all over the place.
All over the place. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. Can't wait. So thank you guys for doing that. Get your tickets now. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie with me and my wife, Sarah Hunt. As she puts it, we take a realistic look into the unrealistic world of romantic comedy movies, which means we make fun of them a lot. And I get really angry, so you can hear me go on rants and lose my shit. Good. That's a lot of fun. Check that out. And besides all that, I mean, what else do we have to talk about here? I think we have a wrestler to talk about with goddamn problems.
Good.
Let's get right into this. Yeah. Crime and Sports, damn it. Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait. Oh, bonus episode. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to be a producer of the show, who we're going to talk about in huge glowing terms later on, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports. And anything that you give above the $5 level, you have access to all of our bonus stuff, which is Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder bonus. And we did a Crime and Sports bonus last week. There'll be another one up next week. It will be on Ken Patera, the wrestler who, holy shit, did he have an interesting story. The night started by throwing a boulder through the front window of a McDonald's.
That'll do it.
And went on from there, and melees ensued and prison time, and it's a lot of fun. An Olympian gone wrong, so that'll be our bonus episode next week. Check that out, but do that.
And they kicked McDonald's up a notch.
Oh, yeah, it's the guy inside, he got a little too big for his britches, and Ken said, well, I have a boulder for you. So never mind him, though, because we have to get into this. Oh, PayPal, too. If you want to donate on PayPal, you can do that. And we appreciate every cent. It's crimeinsports@gmail.com is the email that you put in on there. Let's get right to this. Okay. Today's fella this week is Frederick Martin Jannetty.
Yeah.
Marty Jannetty. Do you remember Marty Jannetty?
I know the name.
He was one of the Rockers. He was Shawn Michaels' tag team partner before he was He's one of these guys. This guy, if you've seen the movie The Wrestler, with Mickey Rourke, right. This is the guy. People have put it on other people and said, I mean, not saying they based it on him. I'm just saying it's an exact replica
of his life.
You could have it could have been a documentary on Marty Jannetty. Just follow him around from the trailer to. Except with way more crack in Marty Jannetty's case. Like, if The Wrestler was a little sadder, that would be Marty Jannetty. He would look up at The Wrestler in wide-eyed admiration. We'll put it that way. So
that guy has very feline face now.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's
what happened to him?
I don't know.
Mickey. Stop
He's
it.
like 68 years old.
I get it.
He's been doing, he's done a lot of drugs and booze. And
he's done more cutting on his face.
He smokes 4 to 5 packs of cigarettes a day, probably, while doing cardio.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy.
He's always wandering around with a tiny dog dressed in weird shit.
Mickey Rourke's a famously weird guy.
Yeah.
He's been known for that since the 80s. He's a nut.
I loved Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man. That was a fun movie.
He's a great actor. There's a reason why he was never like an A-list movie star, and it had nothing to do with his talent. It had to do with that he's fucking crazy and he's undependable and he's been a bit of a loose cannon over the years. So that's why people are like, I don't think we want to work with Mickey Rourke. He knocked out the director of photography on his last film. I feel like
also the movies are interfering with his schedule of getting his face cut off.
That's the other thing.
What the fuck? He looks like a cat.
Getting his face fucked up.
I can't believe it.
A lot of coke snorting to do.
Poor guy.
Let's talk about Marty Jannetty here.
Okay.
He is born February 3rd, 1960 in Columbus, Georgia. And the best way to describe Marty is, there's an interview that he did with kayfabe commentaries. They do very good, like, shoot interviews with wrestlers. And they do something called Breaking Kayfabe, which is this series they do where they kind of get into the wrestlers' personal lives. It's kind of not really about, they don't say like, oh, what was that match at WrestleMania like? They're like, so how much did your dad have to drink before he put his dick in your mouth? Like, things like that. That's what like they're getting into
undercover.
It's why people are fucked up. Because they get the fucked up wrestlers and they bring them in. There's one on New Jack that I watched for the New Jack episode.
Can we get them to interview R. Kelly?
I don't know if he would. Yeah, you have to be in need of $1,500 or whatever they pay. That's the difference. Which he might be nowadays.
He might be.
But that's
he needs the lawyer fees taken care of. Holler at kayfabe.
Most of the time, the wrestlers that are in that position who have had crazy lives and are done and everything like that, they need $1,500 is the problem. So that's why they come in and they tell about their horrible childhoods.
Just selling it.
I heard about New Jack's fucking dad shooting his mom while he's holding him. We'll get into that when we do the New Jack episode.
Good Lord.
But yeah, it's a crazy thing. Well, Marty Jannetty, this interview is insane. Okay, first of all, I don't know what he's on or what's wrong with him, but there's something fucking wrong with him. Now, the guys at kayfabe commentary say they didn't see him take anything or anything like that, but who knows what a guy does when he goes to take a leak or whatever. You don't know.
Right.
But Marty he's talking like this the whole time, just real fast, and, kind of mumbling under his breath, and he'll just try and trail off, and he'll just start something else, just start talking about something else, and so we were over here, and then so 1983, and it's like, where the fuck did that come from?
Oh no!
And the guy talks about the guy Sean Oliver who does the kayfabe commentaries. He talks about how they had to. It took him like 4 days to cut this thing together to make sense.
Everywhere.
To try to because he would stop a story, start something else, and then he'd be like, oh yeah, now the end of that story, but it was a half hour later in between 4 other things. He's like, so he had to try to put it together so it fucking made sense and shit. Like,
but wouldn't it be much more fun to just watch that happen?
But he was trying
to Tarantino it on your own.
That's the thing. But the guy, he's got a weird responsibility, the guy doing his interviews, because he can't make a guy look terrible and make it look like he's not trying to help out, because then other guys won't want to do interviews with him.
Good point.
Because it'll look like you go do an interview with him for $1,500 and he'll ruin any chance of future employment you might have.
Your lunacy to the world.
So he talks about that a lot. This guy does in his book. This guy wrote a book talking about these crazy incidents. And Marty, this is how delusional he is later. This is a little foreshadow. after the DVD and the whole video is out with his interview and everything, he calls this guy up to say, hey man, I just wasn't I wasn't in the right state of mind. I feel like I could do a lot better. He goes, well, give me another chance.
Let's do it again.
He goes, it's already out.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but we'll just sit down.
Take two.
We'll just sit down. And he goes, I'm not going to ask you the same, like, what are we going to talk about? You said everything in the last one. It's out already. And the guy just wasn't happy. Marty just wasn't happy with how he was, and he was saying, he's like, I don't know how you know if this works like this, but once something's out, it's out.
It's done.
You can't take it all back and say, no, listen, clear that, strike that, from like the jury's mind. Now here's this piece of evidence to consider.
I don't know. Batman does it every couple of
true.
years.
New guy. There he is. This one growls for some reason. I don't know how a bat and growling go together, but sure, why not?
We got to be convinced that this storyline meshes with the other one?
Sure. Right. What the hell? This one and George Clooney, same thing.
What the fuck happened to Vicky Vale? Somebody tell us.
Where's Schwarzenegger? Where'd he go? Where's Chris O'Donnell? Who's seen Chris O'Donnell? He might need help. I'm sure he needs help. He's stuck somewhere, Chris O'Donnell.
Can you guys stop calling Batgirl fat for a minute and look for Chris O'Donnell?
Please. For Christ's sake. So, so Marty was mad at this dude for this interview, basically then because he couldn't take it back. So then basically the guy who did the interview said, like, dude, I cut the shit out of this to make you look as good as I could. Yeah. Like, it's okay, it's fine, whatever. It is what it is, basically. So then Marty takes to social media saying, how dare you, this guy cut this interview up to make me look bad and all this shit, and was like, it was just ridiculous.
It went the wrong way.
Yeah, he just did this whole barrage of like, trying to shit on this company for doing this interview with him because he didn't like the way it turned out. Meanwhile, if you watch it, I'm sorry, dude showed up mumbling, stumbling, and saying crazy shit. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Yeah. Sorry. So he's born down in Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah.
And he's a Southern guy, and like I said, got that accent, like everything he said, just real like hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah. No, he's Georgia. He's a cracker. Yeah. All right. Not a cowboy, a cracker. There's a difference here. Georgia's a cracker.
All right.
Cowboys are west. There's cowboy.
Southern cowboys.
Not in Georgia. Not in Columbus, Georgia. That's a cracker. So he grows up. He didn't have an easy childhood, we'll say. He has a shit childhood. Just white trash is the best way to describe it. That's
Georgia.
The way he describes it. But they're poor. Yeah. His parents aren't real with it.
That's a Georgia cowboy, James.
Yeah, it's cracker. Georgia cowboy equals cracker.
It's probably
perfect.
True.
It is. He said that like his house growing up with like his family, they were like known as like the trash family. Like he knew that like everyone knew, basically.
Yeah.
His parents were alcoholics, and there was, that's where that drunk guy lives, and with them dirty little white trash kids and all that shit. So that's how
dismissal based on their class.
Exactly. Yeah. He's very much like the whites of West Virginia here, where they're just like, hey, how it is.
Yeah.
With, you have that's that trashy family that lives in that house. Yeah. Well, it was even worse in the '60s, where everybody was judgmental of everybody. Right. If someone was divorced in the '60s, everyone would sit and go, "Oh, she's divorced. Oh, no one talked to her."
But if your car breaks
catch
down,
divorce.
I guarantee you they call the Jannettys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll come on over there. Yeah. Shit. You gotta give him a couple of beers.
And one wrench, not even the right size.
Nah, he'll figure it out.
Your car runs.
But he'll figure it out. As long as you give him a couple of beers.
Yeah.
Got a couple cold beers? All right, then. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this.
I'll make a wrench out of an empty. Don't worry about me.
Shit. You don't know what the hell I can do. I'll beat my son, too. Where, boy? Marty! So, Frederick Martin, but he goes by Marty always. It's kind of his, just goes by that. I guess it's cooler than Freddie.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's also better than Martin.
It's better than Martin, which, whatever.
That's a tough name.
Yeah, Frederick Martin. Yeah. It's just a rough one.
Good.
No, it doesn't sound cool.
It sounds like an entire name, a first and a last
Frederick
name.
Martin.
Right.
Which later on, he'll be fucking cool. Like in the 80s, he's straight cool. Yeah. Like women are throwing themselves at this guy. Like,
thank God for
crazy.
Back to the Future making Marty a cool name.
You know what? That might have helped.
I'll bet it
I'm
is.
Not sure it was. He had the long hair. He had Marty McFly's name.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not a bad deal. So in his white trash childhood, he says that during this, he said his first sexual encounter, and sex addiction's another thing that he's got a problem with later on. He's very much whatever he dabbles in, he is in 1,000%.
Goes full bore.
Full bore. Yeah. Pills, drugs, women, this, that. It's a fucking 1,000% pedal to the metal.
Hell yeah.
Going full blast. Still to this day, too, which is, I don't know how the hell this guy's alive. We'll put it that way. So he said at 12 years old was his first sexual encounter with a niece or a cousin or something like that.
That's gross.
He didn't know the exact relation because it's a white trash.
Right.
I don't know. It's my dad's cousin's sister who had a thing. And, yeah.
She was close.
She was at the family reunion every year. The big barbecue, that's where they find each other.
It's at that age, that's all you pretty much have access to anyway.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be obviously so sexed up that you're trying to fuck your family.
Well,
but
in a trash family,
it happens.
In a family that's not doing well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of alcoholism and, who knows what going on. There's also sexual abuse a lot of times.
Yeah.
And that's when you get 12-year-old relatives that fuck each other is because they've both been abused or one of them's been abused. And
this ain't their first rodeo.
Exactly.
Right.
That one's reeling the other one in. And that's why child abuse is so terrible because it's exponential growth.
Right.
Because if you you could make a predator then and now they're going to do, and it goes on and on and on.
That happened and it hurt. Let's try it to where it doesn't.
That's what I mean. And that's what happens. Obviously not everybody, but it's, it happens. So, this is bad stuff, and especially if you're a kid and it happens, man. So 12 years old, not the best time to have sex with your cousin.
No.
Let's just say,
but yeah.
Can we say not crime and sports approved behavior? I would say.
I think that's an easy one.
Having sex with your 12-year-old cousin or niece.
Yeah.
Either or.
Whichever. Hilarious.
Whichever.
Yeah.
Because, who knows?
It was either my sister's daughter or somebody else.
Well, like, he doesn't know what they call them. Like, this is your technically, this is your uncle's cousin's daughter. So I guess that's my niece. I don't know. They'd say that's Marty's. Who the fuck knows? But they're the same age. This is the redneck family trees really get complicated. People always make the joke about one branch. It's not one branch. They're just twisty. All the branches are twisty and they go back and reconnect again and fucking you're like, whoa, that thing doubled back on me.
They look like they've got vines on them. That's what it is.
That's what I'm saying. It's all twisty and viney and it's taken over.
The trunk looks like a candy cane.
Shit's lining it all around it. Roots everywhere.
It's a gross family tree.
It really is.
Very mossy.
So, Marty likes sports as a kid. That's how he kind of gets out of this. It's how he starts to become his own person as sports. He's good at sports. He liked football and playing football, but he said he must not have been any good at it because he didn't, never really got caught on in it or anything. He said, so I guess I wasn't good enough, but I liked it better than anything. Is always a wrestling fan growing up. And Georgia has always been a hotbed for wrestling. I mean, Georgia Championship Wrestling and all that. And then in the 70s, it came on TBS out of Atlanta. But I mean, that was forever Georgia Championship Wrestling and Georgia Wrestling. So a lot of people in Georgia were wrestling fans that grew up in the 60s and 70s, and including him, just huge wrestling fan.
And Georgia just connects to Florida, doesn't it?
They touch each other.
It's essentially North Florida.
That's all of that, man. It's a huge wrestling hotbed. Florida, Georgia. That's back in the day. That was big for
Louisiana.
wrestling. Louisiana. Yeah, Bill Watts ran that territory.
Just
that
those
territory
three
later
together
in the
probably
80s.
could have been fine to support plenty of families.
But they all had different territories too, because Alabama had their own territory, and every state pretty much had its own territory. Sometimes different territories within the same state. Tennessee had like 3 different territories at one point in the same fucking state.
It started
before
in the
Jerry
South,
Jarrett took it off. Oh yeah, no, Jerry. That wrestling, it's just different. In the Northeast, there was big wrestling because in the 50s, wrestling was big on TV and it became like a national phenomenon. Yeah. It became like reality shows now. Like literally Saturday night, there was only 2 channels, 3 channels. Everybody watched wrestling on Saturday nights, like families and couples and shit. Sure. That's what was on. So they watched it and it became like a national phenomenon. And the South, they do it different. The South, they would run like 7 days a week, smaller little arenas. They'd go to the same towns every week.
Unbelievable.
So you'd be in, some small town in Dothan, Georgia. You'd be there every Monday night.
Wow.
You're there every single Monday. So you have to wrestle. It's the same people coming to see it. So that was how they would work it. And in the Northeast, it was a different thing. They would go to like Madison Square Garden once a month, and then a big arena in Philly once a month, and in Pittsburgh once a month. And they do it like that and have, draw 15,000 people at once, whereas the South, they'd collect them kind of as they'd go and maybe have a big show the end of the end of the year or something, Christmas show or whatever.
Maybe
Thanksgiving.
Maybe Vince is not that brilliant of a man, because as you were explaining that to me, I was like, it'd be great just to create some sort of storyline that changes every week, and that way the same people will come see it.
That's what they did.
Okay, Vince isn't very smart.
No. That's wrestling.
Happening.
Oh, that's wrestling since the beginning of time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw that in the 80s, but
before that,
Vince was part of it then.
Oh yeah. No, we're talking this storyline started in the teens, in the 1920s, when guys would do real matches. They would try to have a storyline,
really?
And then after a while, when guys would grapple for 2.5 hours on the ground, nobody really
too much of that you can watch.
And then somebody won, and that was it. It was like, who cares? So they were like, what if we make it a little more exciting?
Yeah.
What if we make it so, you guys work it out and figure out the match, and then this guy will win one, and then the next guy will win one, and then we'll make a big money on the comeback. And that's how they would do it. That's how it started. And then they just said, well, if we're faking it anyway, let's just have a storyline. And then it got bigger and bigger. And once television hit, that's when it became
a nightmare.
You had to have a storyline because it's weekly television, just like a TV show.
Ugh.
So now it's a storyline. Yeah. To get people to come to the same thing every Monday night, you have to have a new story that was on television that weekend.
The same dude's fighting for no reason.
Exactly.
It's got to be a prize.
That's exactly right. So now Marty here, he's an amateur wrestler growing up in high school and everything like that, because he likes wrestling, so he wants to wrestle. He qualifies, from what he says, for the state championship tournament in his sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. So that's not bad. He doesn't win the tournament, but he qualifies. Yeah. He also started boxing in high school as well.
That's awesome.
Which is interesting, and won a few Gold Gloves events around Georgia. So this is another thing that's weird, is like, you'd look at Marty Jannetty and he doesn't look like a guy that's like a tough guy. And as far as wrestlers go, if you was 20 wrestlers lined up all from like 1990 and you'd pick him out and go, well, I guess I'd fight him if I had to fight somebody. But even this guy's like an amateur wrestler with a Gold Glove background that would kick your fucking ass if you're a normal person. But, the guys used to be tough back then. That's what I'm getting at. Even the pussy-looking guys were tough, which is weird. He then wrestled at Chattahoochee Valley Community College.
Hell yeah, he did.
That's my alma mater.
Yeah.
Chattahoochee Valley Community College.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
I had no idea. That sounds like Chattahoochee.
That's an Alan Jackson song.
It sounds like it's a made-up Valley Community College where they teach stripping.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? This is Chattahoochee University.
Anything with hoochie in it is not... what are we doing? We should rename this.
This is what we do. We call the flip and hang. Now, you do that from the top of the pole. Now, this is advanced. This is not a 101 course. You're going to have to get some qualifying credits to get to that class. That's later on now, the Chattahoochee Valley Community College. There, he was a two-time NJCAA qualifier in tournaments there, which was National Junior College, whatever. So he eventually dabbled at Auburn University for a minute, but ended up dropping out of there. And that was that. But he stays in, from what I saw in a recent interview, he stays in touch with his like old wrestling coach from high school still.
Really?
Yeah, the guy's still alive. He still talks to him, which I think is fucking funny.
Sounds like they get drugs together.
Probably. Hey, man, you're old. You can get them pills, right? You get them good shit, right? I mean, you're old. They ain't gonna question you.
If you're out of shit, then I'll just snort whatever bone density pills you got.
I'm sure you got something lying around. Let me get in those rattlers. I should get in crack open Tuesday and let's put them on the table and see what we got. I don't know. Just pick a random day. Get me something to mash it up with. There we are.
Mash that shit into the fish oil pill.
You never know. I'll have lower cholesterol, a better heart rate. My dick will be rock hard, and with any luck, I'll be a little stoned too.
My joints feel great.
You never know. So he starts working as a mover.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just driving a moving truck, and he said it was just brutal.
That's a tough life.
That is a tough job.
Oh,
that's a brutal job.
I don't envy anybody that does that.
He said they drive all day. If they're moving a long distance, they drive all day. And you're exhausted, but then you got to move an entire truck worth of furniture after you're exhausted from driving for 7 hours.
Get in there and get my table, bitch.
Yeah, he said it was fucking brutal. His body was broken down. He just felt terrible, and it was just an awful job. And so he thought, well, why don't I try wrestling? Yeah. Because if I'm going to drive this much, because that's what he heard in wrestling, had a lot of driving. And he said, if I'm going to drive this much and beat the shit out of myself wrestling furniture, might as well wrestle men, right? I guess. Might as well put my underwear on and go out there. Makes sense, right?
What would make this moving job better is if the couch fought back.
If it fought back, that'd be better. But I knew what it was doing. but it still hurt.
If I knew what the table and the lamp were doing ahead of time,
problem
I'd beat
is
the shit out of this
tell
couch.
you what, here's the problem. Every goddamn time I fight the couch, that fucking end table, he comes in, interfering, hitting me with the lamp that's on top of it. I'm like, listen, you son of a bitch. This is me and the couch.
Cord around my ankle and yanks me to the floor.
The goddamn love seat comes out, whacks me on the back of the head. They double team me now. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm the king of this goddamn living room. I'm the champion.
All the folding chairs from the garage are whacking me in the head.
Yeah, he gets fired for wrestling the furniture. He gets fired for jumping off the roof with an elbow smash onto a couch.
That's what wrestling is.
Yeah.
It's a moving job where the couch fights back.
Yeah, and some of the guys back in the day were big stiffs. They're like wrestling a couch too, from what I understand. So he figures out that he can make a few more bucks wrestling. And even in the small territory down there, he could make a few more bucks. He says, he found out that like kind of wrestling, what you'd make about $400 a week. And he goes, he was making like $150 a week doing moving. So he's like, well, that seems better. Why not? So he ends up getting into wrestling. He's trained by a guy named Jerry Oates, and Jerry Oates he was popular in Georgia, but a lot of these guys were popular in one little area, but they weren't, and they go to other areas, they kind of just be mediocre stars. And it was weird. You'd have some guys, and no matter where they went, Dusty Rhodes, wherever he went, fucking main eventer instantly.
Yeah, but he's got personality.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And Jerry Oates doesn't have a lot of personality.
No,
it just doesn't. And decent worker. Decent in the ring, knew what he was doing, trained guys, and ended up training Marty. He ran kind of a little wrestling school. He trained Marty. Marty thought he was too small to wrestle. And he's like 5'10 and a half, 5'11.
Yeah.
He said he was about 205, 210 pounds at the time.
That's a lot of man.
Yeah, but he's not like compared to wrestlers.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
The Rock.
Yeah, this is in the early 80s.
Right.
So still, though, and we're talking 1983 when he's training, the most popular guy in the country is Hulk Hogan still, who's 6'7" and weighs 300 pounds. Nowhere near Marty Jannetty. So
Can't believe he's that big.
He's huge. Yeah, not anymore. He's shrunk now. He's had a bunch of surgeries.
5'9".
Yeah, he's like down to about 6'3" now. He's had a bunch of surgeries.
Poor fuck.
Remove vertebrae all the time, and you just shrink. So he ends up being trained, and he says he thought he was too small, and he told the Jerry Oates guy, maybe this isn't for me, maybe I'm too small, I see all these other guys are huge. And he said, the Jerry Oates guy said, no, you're going to be fine, kid, get in here. Now I saw an interview with Marty, he goes, I think he just wanted the money, because, it was he paid him to train him, so he's like, I think I could have been 5'3", and he'd been like, no, you're going to be great, you're going to be champion of the world, get on in here.
Sounds right.
Yeah, these old journeyman wrestlers were fucking hustlers.
Sure.
They had to make a living.
That's what their job was in the first place. Now they're just translating it into not so competitive.
They used to be so like cheap and make so little money. They used to do a thing where like one guy would volunteer to drive everybody and have everybody pitch in like 2 cents a mile for gas, and they'd make money on that. They'd have their wife make a cooler full of like fucking bologna sandwiches to sell the guys on the trip. Like that's how they were hustling.
It's your bologna sandwiches here.
From the front seat.
Just like whipping them.
Yeah, here you go. That's what they did though. So Jerry Oates trains him. He starts in early 1983 as a wrestler here. Late 1983, he gets his first taste of all this. One of his first matches, which is pretty interesting, is a match teaming with his tag team partner, Jerry Oates, who is the trainer teaching him. He goes against Butch Reed, who's a big star in WWF later and WCW, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, a Crime and Sports alumni. Here, as you'll find many Crime and Sports alumni here. Now, right away, it's funny that he goes by the name Oates. First, Marty goes by Marty Oates at first.
Get out.
To be Jerry's brother.
Yeah.
Because that's how they used to do it a lot. They just take somebody as a partner and be like, yeah, it's my brother. Give him the name. And that was a thing.
They're married, though. That's creepy.
Yeah, but no, it was just, this is my little brother. He's been trained, and now he's ready. You know what I mean? That's what happened. So it's Jerry and Marty Oates, which is hilarious that he takes that name because, foreshadow here, Marty Jannetty, another reason why this story is so interesting is he started he ends up getting famous in a tag team with Shawn Michaels. They end up breaking up this tag team. Shawn Michaels becomes a guy who, even if you're not a wrestling fan, you know who Shawn Michaels is probably. Yeah. He was around forever. You don't know who Marty Jannetty is.
No.
That's my point.
Right.
He's the Ridgely guy from Wham.
Oh.
He's the You know what I'm saying? That's Marty Jannetty.
The original drummer of the Beatles.
He's the not even that.
Best is.
Yeah, he's the second fucking. Yeah, he's that guy. He's the Oates of Hall and Oates. Okay. He's fucking Oates, and he goes by the name Marty Oates, which should be his fucking name anyway. It's hilarious. So. How ironic is that he will become the Oates, and he knew it ahead of time. It was all his path was laid out before him. That's the thing. It was like he should have just stopped right there. He knew it was coming. So, he wrestles a bunch here, getting some experience. Wrestles like some experienced guys, too. Nikolai Volkov, who was a big Russian in the 80s and in WWF, Iron Sheik's partner. He wrestles Mr. Wrestling, too, who was big in Georgia. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, he wrestles down there. That's in Mid-South. He does some Mid-South events in 83 for Bill Watts, doing that stuff. He does, this is a mixed little people match I found here.
Get out.
Yes, him and Cowboy Lang versus, and he changed it to Jannetty. He lost the Oates by early 84 and picked his own name here. They defeat Roger Kirby and Little Tokyo.
That's all? Just two guys?
It's a mixed match.
Oh, okay.
A big guy on each team, little guy on each team.
That's fun.
You're not allowed to compete. That's, you tag in the midget, and then as the midget wrestling, they'd say, and then the other guy, the big guy, would be like, oh, shit, he'd have to go tag in the other one because he's not allowed to.
All right. You can't beat up the little guy.
You can't beat up the little guy.
I thought it was
against the rules.
I thought it was two big guys versus two little guys.
Now, that's a match.
That's not fair.
Very quick.
But the two little guys get to be in all the time if they
just
want.
Two of them in a little swarming tornado around you. Where the fuck are you kicking at them? You just see a guy kicking, swinging, whatever, you little bastards. Over here, you little son of a bitch. Chasing him around the ring.
That was an internet question fairly recently. If there was waves upon waves of 8-year-olds coming at you, how many do you think you could defeat before they all overtook you?
I had a stand-up joke 7 years ago. The exact same thing.
Many?
I used to go, I'd take a pause and I go, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many children do you think you could beat the shit out of? Like first graders. I just asked somebody, I go, so I mean what? So I figured it out, and I also put it to...
I figured it out.
Yeah, it's a math problem.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I thought you went to a grade school and figured it out.
I had a whole thing, and I figured out... The kids was just into how many little people could you beat the shit out of at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was my main joke. And I was like, I mean, one, you just kick him right in the chest as he's coming at you. That's fucking easy.
That's over.
Two, you got a fist and another fist and a kick. You can really go. When it gets to be like three or more is the problem. At that point, you have to pick one up and hit the other two with him. And then once the fourth one comes, I think you're going to have an issue. I think three is the answer.
I think the answer
Fourth, he's going to get on your back, and then they're going to start getting your legs, and then you're going down like Gulliver, and you're in deep shit.
I think the answer is as hard as you can kick the first one might change everybody else's mind.
You never know. I'm picturing them like attackers in a ninja movie, just mindlessly coming at you, like just in full attack mode. We'll give them like PCP. How many little people on PCP? Because they're going to have no fear and feel no pain. You're going to have to physically damage them to knock them out of the way.
Because an 8-year-old, if you kick one so hard his head explodes,
the others are going to cry.
That changes,
they're going to super cry.
That changes the game.
I've seen an 8-year-old get kicked across a room one time, and it really changed the tempo of the room. My friend did that when I was a kid to his little sister, and he just kicked her, and she flew through the air like the Matrix and hit the wall and slid down. And everyone went, I'm going home now. We all left. It was fucked up. Not cool.
Yeah, I think that's the answer, though. Just beat the shit out of one hard enough that nobody wants any part of you.
Little people on PCP, though. I think
that's
3.
That's terrifying.
1, 2, and then you hit the third. I think that's how you do it.
Eventually,
and then it go
you're
from
going
there.
down.
Yeah, then you're going down from there, probably.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a micro-city built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
So
holy shit,
it's kind of fucking great here. So he continues wrestling in Georgia, and he does Central States is where not Georgia, Central States in Kansas City, which is known as one of the worst territories in the history of wrestling. Terrible. They paid like shit. Bad. They'd do like terrible like outdoor shows in some shit small town in Kansas. Ric Flair's famous for complaining about this territory and how shitty it was and how terrible it was compared to everything else.
Right.
So that's where you go if you're young. You know, because
pay your dues.
They take the young guys or the old guys who nobody else wants, and that's kind of it. Or somebody who they fooled into coming in until they realize how shit the pay is, basically. So
because they didn't have a forecast.
Yeah, he's in Central States here. He wins the NWA Central States television title.
Wow!
Look at Marty. He's a champion. God damn it! In a year here, beating Gary Royal. So good for him there. Teams up with Bulldog Bob Brown a lot, and he says he learned a lot from Bulldog Bob Brown about psychology and kind of how to work in the ring and shit like that. He continues to work NWA, goes to St. Louis from there, and he's kind of kicking around between St. Louis and Kansas City, which they're like 3 hours apart, so why not? But he says his mentor there, the Jerry Oates guy, knew Harley Race, who we've talked about a lot, who's like the toughest man ever, and he got, Jerry Oates brokered a thing to get. That's how you would do it back then. All of this was word of mouth. You wouldn't put like a resume in. If you were new, you'd send out pictures. That's how you do. You'd send, here's pictures of me.
What I look like.
I'd like to be a wrestler now. And if somebody liked your look, they'd bring you in and let their guys beat the shit out of you, basically. And that's how you got in the business. Or if you got trained, the guy who trained you would try to get you a job after that. And then, people
and
would
if you look good losing, maybe he'll give you a chance to win next time.
That's kind of what it is. And
it's dangling the carrot.
And that it is. And it's exactly like comedy. Yeah, you go out there, you do the shit up top there, tell them to fill out their comment cards. You do that well enough, you might be in the middle sometime.
Right.
But if you do it too well, you'll never fucking stop doing it.
Never work again, and that's except the thing. For that.
Yeah, and that's what I figured out in comedy is you have to be bad at the hosting things, but good at the comedy part. Yeah. So I'd be like, you got fucking comic. I don't know what the fuck you want to do with those, whatever. So I'd be totally not friendly and then do well in comedy. So it's like, see, I'm a bad host, but a good comic. So I'm not doing hosting. And then I guess you're right. Yeah, you're not really a real friendly guy.
Somewhere else.
I would do the fucking least host friendly jokes possible up front, like fucking angry rants and shit. That would work. Great. But people I remember comics going, it's the weirdest host set I've ever seen. Like it killed, but holy shit. Like usually you're like, it's like a warm opener.
It's
I'm like,
fun.
Fuck them. No.
It's usually a welcome, thanks for being here, we appreciate it.
Let me tell you about my kids. We went to the store the other day. I'll tell you, this lady was acting so silly. No, fuck that. No way. Not happening.
James's host set is, I'd appreciate it if you'd all leave.
Yeah. If not, listen to me for a while.
Hilarious.
So, and somehow they liked it. I don't know. So in '85, he continues with NWA St. Louis and gets some good experience. He also was in Central States, where in May 25th of 1985, he has a match against Ric Flair, which is pretty cool. It's a big deal here. He was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion at the time, Ric Flair, which was a huge deal. And Marty,
the TV champion.
Yeah, and that means that you were like, basically what they would do is the NWA, separate from Vince McMahon and all that, they'd have their champion, and their champion would go from all those different territories to defend the belt. So whoever the hot shit guy was locally, Ric Flair would come in that week on TV and say he's going to kick that guy's ass, and this guy would act like he has a chance to be the champion of the whole country. And then Ric Flair, they'd fight for a while, and usually a draw, an hour-long draw, so the local guy wouldn't look bad, and then Ric Flair would go to the next town. That's how it worked. So Marty Jannetty was the hot shit guy in Kansas City to go up against, basically. And he's also a good wrestler. He gave Ric Flair a good match. That's the other thing I have to say about Marty Jannetty. As much as a fuck up as he is, he's a really good wrestler. He's really good. Yeah. Like, he's not bad at all. You know, obviously, maybe not now, but if you look at, like, compared to old school, dude could go. He could do his thing. He wasn't bad. He was just
fun to watch.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I'll tell you about it when we get to it in a minute, but him and his partner at one point are what got me interested in wrestling when I was a kid. Yeah, absolutely. So he also fights Scott Hall a bunch here. Oh. There's a bunch of matches he has with Scott Hall before he's Scott Hall when he's in a tag team known as American Starship, where he was American. I think he was Coyote. Yeah. Scott Hall, American Starship Coyote. Eesh. Not good. He also has a little run-in with Scott Hall outside the ring. There's an issue here. Jokes are a big deal with wrestlers. They play jokes on each other. That they're called ribs, and it's just the oldest thing in the book. And when you're on the road constantly with the same group of guys, it gets monotonous, and they say the only way to break it up is you fuck with each other. Right. And it's fun. And it's usually little things. It's, they'll fucking cut their pant legs off or something when they put them on, or just shit like that.
Or just only take their whole motor out of their car.
Take their Mr. Fuji stuff. Mr. Fuji has the best ones of all time.
That's not great.
He did that to the Rockers too, to Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels.
So fucked.
It's not as fucked up as making the guy drive 8 hours to get to the building, and then he says, I'll drive on the way home, and takes the guy 20 minutes. He made the guy drive 8 hours to go 20 minutes away. He was some Japanese guy. He goes, that's a long trip today. Long trip, Mr. Fuji did. He goes, oh, well, so long. And then they drove home. Oh, I got this one. I'll drive. And the guy goes, oh, thank you so much. Yeah. 20 minutes. He goes, what the fuck? He goes, I know a shortcut. And he gets out of the car. It's like,
that's better.
That's a great joke.
That's a great joke.
But you tortured yourself. You drove for 8 hours too. That's how great of a fucking ribber he was. He'd do it to himself.
Put 400 miles on your car for no reason.
He also cooked a neighbor's dog. Mr. Fuji did.
No.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Fuji did this.
That.
He did do that.
What did he do?
Apparently, somebody, I don't know, there's a difference between, some people say the guy owed him money, but Fuji said it was something different, because I saw Fuji talk about it. He had some kind of beef with the guy, and he invited the guy over to eat, and he made this soup, and the guy's eating, he goes, oh, this is delicious, and he's eating. Then he goes, delicious. He goes, you like it? It's your dog, he tells him in his accent. God. The guy fucking lost it. Yeah, that's, Mr. Fuji's a crazy fuck.
Dude, that is fucked up.
It's evil. That's fucking evil. That's some serial killer shit. He was the most feared guy.
What is that?
And apparently he was a super badass, so nobody did anything, because they were like, what are you going to do? He's going to kick your ass if you say anything to him. So you just had to take it and laugh.
Jesus. Ha, ha, ha.
No, that was a mean one. Okay. He did that to piss the guy off. Normally,
it would work.
Yeah, taking your car engine's just a joke, because then he'll bring it back. But this is not a joke. This is, he wanted to tell the guy.
It's your dog.
It's your dog. So he had, and the way he says it, Fuji telling it, and he laughs about it. He goes, I tell him, it's your dog. I'm like, you evil little motherfucker, man.
That is horrible.
This is little Asian dude. This little
what
old
a
man.
monster.
He's a monster, yeah. So this is common. Just little things. One of the things they like to do is charge shit to each other's rooms. Yeah. That's a big rib they'll play. The hotel bar, they'll be like, oh, yeah, no, they'll find out what room a guy's in. Yeah, no, we're charging all this to room 203, and I'm him, and the guy somebody will sign the guy's name. Then when the guy goes to check out, it's $600. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I had a $39 room.
I didn't realize my ex-wife is a wrestler.
Yeah, so, yeah.
2 hotel rooms for my kid's birthday. Yeah. This bitch is charging ice cream cones to my room.
That's perfect. Ice cream cones.
Thank you for charging $8 ice cream cones to my room, you fucking dickhead.
This was beyond $8, apparently.
Good point.
Apparently,
wrestlers are a little meaner, I guess.
Well, apparently one night, and they're not making any money at this point in these territories. So apparently one night, Scott Hall, they decided to do this to Scott Hall, and Scott Hall gets down. There's a $500 bill from the bar on his tab. He doesn't even have $500. Yeah. He's not doing very well. Right. And so he asks around. I don't know if we talked about this in the Scott Hall episode, but he asked around and he said, who did it? And somebody told him Marty Jannetty did it. So rather than asking Marty, Scott just found Marty the next day in the locker room. Marty was asleep on a training table.
We did.
And Scott just came up, and Scott Hall's a 6'6", 250-pound big guy. He just beat the shit out of Marty while he was sleeping.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his first 3 blows were to a sleeping man. Marty didn't even know he was being hit.
That's horrible.
So, he fucked Marty up good here. So, he got his ass whooped pretty good here.
Was it Marty?
Marty didn't do it. He goes, I didn't fucking do it. He goes, I don't know who the hell did it. It wasn't me.
You better not fall asleep around me.
No, that's the thing. And the Marty and Sean become hellacious ribbers later on, but at this point he wasn't doing anything. I was just in the business. I wasn't trying to get, piss anybody off. So he ends up winning the Central States tag team titles in 86, early 86, and starts teaming up a little bit here and there with Shawn Michaels in Central States. Shawn Michaels is about 5-6 years younger than Marty Jannetty.
Really?
So, yeah, Michaels was 18, 19 when he broke in the business. He was a kid.
Good Lord.
So when they would go to Vegas, he couldn't even, they tell him he had to stay out of the casino floor.
Can you imagine?
So, yeah, that's...
Starting wrestling at that age and becoming fucking Shawn Michaels.
That's what I mean.
That's luck, man.
It's luck, and it's that dude. That guy,
he's smart. He thought
and also kid. He just keeps going and going. He was a real ball breaker too. Michaels at one point decided that he wasn't going to listen to old people anymore in the business, and he said, "Shit's changing. I think I know what I'm doing, even though I don't know what I'm doing." Basically,
right.
And did that, and it worked for him. So good for him. I mean, it also got him, shit canned and fired a couple times, but it eventually made him a big star.
It worked out.
He's
got a bigger house than I do.
Dude, he does very well for himself, Shawn Michaels, and he hasn't wrestled in a long time.
Right.
So Marty ends up going to the AWA, which they try to keep him down in Kansas City, but he says he wants to go to the AWA. The AWA just got on ESPN. That was the one that used to be on like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when we were kids. Yeah. And this was the first wrestling that I really used to watch. WWF was on, but I don't think I didn't know about it. I didn't know when it was on or anything like that, but I watched ESPN all the time, and after school it was there. So I got into this first. He goes there, and he's only there for a minute before they end up hooking him up with Shawn Michaels, who was a kid, and it was also kind of, hey, you're a few years older than him. You can bring him along, and we'll make you guys a tag team.
There
and
you go.
you're similar sizes and styles. We'll do that. So they did that, and they wanted to have the Rock and Roll Express were a tag team in another area, and they wanted to kind of make that kind of a team, young with bandanas hanging off them and colorful and shit like that the girls would like.
Sure.
Said, we want teeny boppers to like you. We want to hear that screech when you guys come out of girls, basically. So they sit him down. Greg Gagne, who's Vern Gagne's son, sits him down, and
that's the guy with the fucking fingers, the vice grip
hands. That's Harley Race, who has the vice grip hands that can clamshell a fucking beer bottle top with his pinky and ring finger.
Vern had kids that he would beat the shit out of?
No. That was Fritz von Erich.
God damn it.
Vern is the guy who, when he was 90 years old and had Alzheimer's in an old folks home, killed a Holocaust survivor with a wrestling move because he just snapped into some NCAA tournament fucking mode.
Did I know that?
Probably. And
wow.
Killed a Holocaust survivor who was 98 years old by slamming him to the fucking ground in a wrestling hold.
Well done, Vern.
Yeah, good. So Vern's not that you killed, but he was still effective. Even into his 90s, he's still effective.
Yeah. I'm sarcastically saying well done.
Nice job, Vern.
You fucking jerk.
But he ran the AWA, and he was an old school Midwestern guy, and it's not very cool. We'll put it that way. They weren't really. This is 1986, so there's a lot of different things are happening now. They're farty, basically, the Gagnes. So they sit them down, and they want to come up with a name for them. And Greg Gagne comes up with, they wanted something like rock and roll, like the Rock and Roll Express, something with rock in it. So he says, what about the Country Rockers?
No.
And they're like, the Country Rockers? Yeah, man, the Country Rock. They're like, we don't want to be the Country Rockers. That sounds fucking lame, man.
That's something you buy from the patio at goddamn Cracker Barrel. I don't want a Country Rocker.
That's what you watch those Bear Jamboree thing in is at Disneyland. We got some Country Rockers for y'all to sit in right here. You can watch the Bears play on their jugs.
They have them at the Charlotte airport, for fuck's sake.
At every airport in the South. You fucking people, stop it with the rocking chairs. They take up too much space. You can fit.
They really do.
3 normal chairs where 2 rocking chairs go, you fucks. There's nowhere to sit, and there's just fat people rocking. And I'm like, get your fat ass up out of the fucking rocking chair. It just makes you look lazier to rock, which is weird because you're in movement. You think you'd look less lazy than sitting still. Somehow, you look lazier rocking.
Maybe it's the Beats headphones and the airplane pillow around their fucking
Probably,
neck.
That's it. And the 3 slices of Sbarro they're holding in their fucking hand with a McRib on top of it. Maybe
they
that's
have to hold their suitcase with their feet so that airport security doesn't think it's an abandoned bag.
Yeah, and I see them take a Cinnabon out of their pocket, which is... If someone takes a Cinnabon out of their coat pocket, they got problems. That's a problem.
The inside pocket.
Not good.
Where was that and why?
Ooh, boy. So Country Rockers isn't going to work. So they sit down with Vern Gagne, who's he's in his 60s or late 50s and Midwestern, kind of a corny guy.
Yeah.
They sit down with him and they're like, all right, we got a name. What about the Midnight Rockers? That's what they wanted. Like, we'll compromise with the Rockers. That's cool, but country, not so cool. Midnight Rockers. They said it came from, Shawn Michaels came up with it from a Judas Priest song.
Yeah.
And he thought it was cool, the Midnight thing. And he's like, what about that? And Vern Gagne said initially he didn't like it because he said, don't you think, this is fucking how out of touch this guy was. This has been said a million times, this story, but he says, don't you think that people are going to confuse that with rocking chairs?
Oh, my God.
He literally thought that.
No, country rockers, they
sounds
will.
like, I got me a country rocker. It's the top of the line rocking chair, boy. It's got padding on the seat. That's what you'd imagine.
It came with the cushion.
He said, I don't know, guys. I think the people are going to confuse it with rocking chairs. And he goes, what? They're like, no, they're not. We're going to have like fucking Judas Priest music when we come out. And like,
there'll be fire and black leather and shit.
They came out, they had like these tiger stripes and shit and like, fucking bandanas hanging all off of them in different colors. They're not, they're 19 years old, 19 and 24 years old. No. So he's like, they're like, we think it'll be good. We really think everyone will understand. Just saying.
Let us try it.
So they do.
Yeah.
So they become the Midnight Rockers. They participate in the Wrestle Rock extravaganza at the Minneapolis at the
Superdome.
Not the Superdome, the goddamn Metrodome. They participate in that, and they also, if you we've said it a million times before, if you have not listened to it, do yourself a favor and find the Wrestle Rock Rumble and listen.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, all right. And Sean and Marty have their very own verse in the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
Oh, God.
But it's something like, fuck, what was it?
It's
I listened
so
to it.
Painful.
Were
they the two that jumped in the pool?
No, that was Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall.
All right.
These two look like they're at a children's birthday party.
Oh, no.
There's like balloons and it looks like teenage girls, but like not 19.
Yeah.
They look like they're like 14. Like some ninth grader had a pizza party, birthday party, and they were like, the Rockers might show up. I sent them a letter. And the Midnight Rockers showed up. It's weird, dude. It's like, I'm Sean and something about Marty. We like to wrestle and we love to party or some shit.
They did do.
They say that,
boy.
Oh yeah, they rhyme Marty and party.
Oh my God.
And it's bad, dude. It's Shawn Michaels, not a good rapper.
I'm sure of that.
I mean, Marty's not good either, but Shawn is maybe the worst rapper in history. There's old ladies in movies rapping better than him from the 90s, put it that way. It's fucking bad.
Oh, my God.
It's embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing. So this is kind of around the time they start their big feud here with a couple of guys. And I need you to get your Google out,
all right.
Jimmie Whisman.
Got it.
I need you to look up these gentlemen.
I have to put my glasses on.
You need to see the physiques of these particular gentlemen that they fight.
I love that so much because the 80s wrestlers did not look like wrestlers.
Some of them look like, chiseled from stone, and then some of them look like your uncle that you just found in the shower. And you're like, oh, uncle, put your pants on. Well, they fight. They start a feud, the two of these guys, with Playboy Buddy Rose, who look up now.
Yep.
And the physique, now, he was a great wrestler and known as he's a legendary guy, but he got fat and that wasn't good. Did you find him here?
I see him sitting on the top rope, and then I click it, and
he's a blonde, chunky guy. And then pretty boy Doug Summers.
Boy, those are some great tits.
He's got awesome tits. Nice nipples on him. He's got very nice nipples.
Beautiful.
Aren't they nice?
My word.
Yeah, if you found those on a lady, you'd be like, hey, look at you.
I'm tonguing those.
No, that's what I'm saying. Then look up pretty boy Doug Summers.
Okay. Oh,
who
my God.
was one of the ugliest men ever, Doug Summers.
And he calls himself
Pretty boy. Yeah, that was the joke. A fat guy named Playboy and an ugly guy named Pretty Boy.
Pretty Boy Buddy Rose.
But
Ricky, wait, what is it? Who is it?
Doug Summers, Somers. And check that out, Jimmy. You can see.
Boy, boy.
He looks like a child molester. One looks
really
like
does.
your nice fat uncle, and the other looks like your uncle whose house you're not allowed to go over. That's what they look like.
Oh, he's got a frown.
Yeah.
Oh, what a frown on this man. He
Not
is
good.
so mad.
So these guys started a feud, and somehow wrestling, like anything else, chemistry is a thing.
Yeah.
And chemistry with these two teams was insane, and they put on these great matches.
Really?
And when I was 7 and just turning 8 years old, this is what got me interested in wrestling, seeing this on ESPN. And when they had matches, I hung watching on this storyline every day after school, waiting for more about these guys fight. I don't know what it was. I was just very intrigued by it. Maybe because they were young, so I was like, oh, that's cool. They don't look like someone's dad.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they look like high school guys or something. So
something's happening with Playboy's face too. He looks like it looks photoshopped. He's like 12. His face.
Yeah, he's like
so young.
He's very blonde and
they're both very blonde.
Yeah. Well, it's bleached too. But still,
one of them looks like he's flat ironing it though.
Playboy used to be one of the best workers in the business, known as in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, and then his weight just got a little out of control, and he was still really good.
Yeah,
and it was amazing. He could do a kip up. You know what that is? When you're on your back and you kick your legs up and kick yourself up at that weight.
That fat man could do that?
He could do one.
That's impressive.
It was fucking impressive to see. You're like, how the hell does he do that?
Wow.
So you're like, he must have been an athlete at some point. So, and he was here. So, they fight. They have all of these. They have a really bloody match on ESPN.
Really?
Which fucking bloodbath. Everybody's covered in blood. And me at 8 was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. They have a steel cage match on Christmas night in St. Paul. It's a very bloody match again. At this point, too, they get their own wrestling figures.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is cool. They have these, their first wrestling figures, the AWA figures. They're these Remco brand, and they have like the same bodies. That's him down there.
That's not bad.
No,
that's Doug Summers.
Yeah, he's an ugly bastard.
But from the back, he looks great in a wrestling figure. Because it's not his face.
No, his face is fucking hideous. Mm-hmm. So they get these figures. They're like kind of the body of the He-Man figures, kind of like those little
fat
fucking
thighs.
Yeah. Within the arms move and shit, but whatever. So they had those figures. They barely released this one. They're like extremely rare, and the Marty Jannetty figure, we'll talk about it later, is worth like hundreds of dollars on eBay now, even out of the box. It's minimum $200. It's crazy. Yeah.
Why is that?
They didn't make a lot of them. Yeah.
Incredible.
They didn't make a lot of them. So finally, January 27th, 1987, at a regular house show, not even on TV in Minnesota, they finally beat Buddy Rose and Doug Summers to win the tag team titles.
Hell yeah.
And become a big deal, and it's a big deal for them to find. They had this feud for like 7 months before they win the titles. Grace. We'll say Grace right now. No. Grace for the personal reasons we'll talk about. Grace for this. They were interesting guys at this point. Let's talk about some of the shit they were doing outside of the ring. First of all, groupies were crazy at this point.
Sure.
They said guys like them would have women literally lined up down a hallway at a hotel.
Really?
And they would just call in who they wanted, and they'd come in 3-4 at a time if they felt like they were like rock stars.
Yeah.
It's insane, like disgusting shit.
Him and Shawn Michaels, the two of them. Guys of that ilk, the Rock and Roll Express had the same kind of setup. Now, what these guys would do, they're known as particular ribbers and dicks, Michaels and Marty Jannetty. What they would do is, and this is horrible, and you'd go to prison for 20 years if you did this now. They used to get these girls who wanted to like go back to the hotel room with them and fuck them. Oh, they didn't.
And they used to these are girls that wanted to fuck them.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, come on back to my room. They would drug these women. They would drug them and fuck them and stuff. But that's not enough.
Right. They
drugged them not to fuck them because they wanted to fuck them anyway.
Oh, boy.
They drugged them so they could like shave half their head and write shit on them in magic marker and leave them in the hallway naked.
With their jizz all over them.
That's what they would do.
That's horrible.
That was their game that they played.
Hilarious.
Their little ha-ha game that they played. Yeah, exactly.
What a gag.
Again, sarcastic. Much like killing a Holocaust survivor.
Or barbecuing somebody's dog and putting it in soup.
That's what I mean.
This is on that level. Of psychotic behavior.
Psychotic. You would go to prison for how long for that?
Oh, God, Jesus.
I mean,
and you would
deserve it, and you'd be. Imagine a famous person did that to somebody now. They would be.
If you did that and not expecting to, I'm going to jail tomorrow.
And Jannetty has told stories about doing this firsthand, and every wrestler from that era has told, the Rockers, Christ, you'd
walk down the hall and you'd see one of theirs laying out in the hallway, out cold with half her head shaved with shit written in magic marker all over her face, naked in a hallway.
You think that women that were like
fucking disgusting
today are like 60, 70 years old had it bad, and they did. Women that were 20 years old in the 80s were
if they wanted to hang around famous people.
Yeah. Oh my God! Not just famous people; they were treated like shit by normal.
But read any rock star's memoirs from the '80s, and it's just horrible how they
atrocity after atrocity after criminal atrocity.
The criminal actions, not just morally wrong. This is criminal. This is a criminally wrong thing that was going on here.
It's unbelievable.
The drugging, the fucking while drug,
right?
Then like shaving. So there's so many crimes going on here.
God,
both punitive and legal. Like it's just insane. So this is a type of fun these guys were having back then. But the women were so just available that they just didn't even, I don't even want to fuck them anymore. I'm just going to fuck with them, basically. I'll fuck them, but then it's no fun if I don't shave half their head and dump them in a hallway.
Right.
I don't understand the mentality. If this woman's goodly enough to have sex with you,
it's downright kind enough.
It's right neighborly, I would say. You should, at that point, probably be nice to them, at least for the duration of the time you're with them. Then
a better idea: try to make them come, and then separate.
That's nice thing
gentlemanly.
Always. Jimmie, I'm not going for fucking
man of the year.
I'm not going for man of the year here. I'm going for legal. I'm going for legal intercourse. That's it. I'm not talking she wants to come back for more.
Going for handcuffs at the end of this.
Can we make this not a felony? That's all I'm working on here. Can we make this sex not a felony? Is that at all possible?
So that I can leave tomorrow. And judges and cops don't have a problem with it.
Oh my God, they're not going to want me to hang around. So, Jesus Christ, they're obviously feeling themselves a little bit at this point.
Boy,
they're into their success. They're doing great in the AWA. They're champions, and they're at Super Clash 2, which is the AWA's attempt at WrestleMania. Super Clash. They did the first one, and it was in Comiskey Park, and like 30-something thousand people showed up. Awesome. Great show. They did 2 years later. In the Cow Palace in San Francisco, and 2,200 people showed up in a 20,000 seat arena.
Ouch! And
it is the saddest thing you've ever seen in your fucking life.
That echoes.
Super Clash 2 is sad.
Oh,
it's just sad. It's Heading beats Bockwinkel for the title. They have all these great matches. Like supposedly, all these feuds are culminating in this. Nobody's there to see it.
How does the theater not go? Listen, guys. Shows in a couple of days.
It's booked, man.
We're 18,000 short.
It is what it is.
We only hold 20.
I've heard about worse than that.
Oh, my God.
I've heard of hundreds showing up at the Omni, which holds 20,000 people for wrestling, and they would have, literally 400 people would show up. And I was like, how do you sit them all together?
I mean, at that point, you just wander everybody out into the ring and apologize, right?
I would think every match you go, hey, guys, how you doing? Sorry. It's one thing if it's 400 in a 500 seater, like a little building. That's fine.
You could literally do moves for each individual person there. Tommy, this one's for you.
Hey, Tommy. T-Bone. But 20,000 seat could give everybody their own section almost. Like, it's crazy. So, they end up, though, wrestling there. So, over the course of, the last year they were in AWA, Shawn Michaels in his book said that he and Marty Jannetty made $39,000 each in their first year in the AWA.
Ouch.
Which, for him, he was 19, 20 years old, Shawn Michaels. So he was like, awesome. He said he got himself a 300ZX. He was excited. Got himself a car.
Yeah.
He was jacked.
Yeah.
So, but you also have to consider wrestlers pay their own expenses. Yeah. Like flights are paid for if they have to go somewhere far, but then you get there, your rental car, your hotel, all that's out of your pocket. So out of $39,000, it's comedy.
That goes fast.
It's so comedy. It's not even funny where you're like, well, basically you live on your write-off.
Yeah. You've made $12,000.
Yeah. And so you have to, anyway. So, at one point here, while they're about to go to the WWE for a minute, but before this, it is Marty's birthday at one point, okay? It is February, obviously, February 3rd, and it's Marty's birthday, and Shawn Michaels is going to get him a little present. Oh, boy. Okay, now it's before a television taping, and it's where they do interviews. Basically, they tape all the matches, and then they have a studio where they have the backdrop with the company name and a guy with a microphone going, so you're going to be wrestling this guy this Saturday, and they go, I'm going to kick his ass. The interview area.
Blasted with a coconut.
Exactly. Do the interview area here. And in this area, they have all the wrestlers there. It's Marty's birthday, so Sean hires a stripper / prostitute to come and service Marty at the station. So apparently what ends up happening is, and this is in the middle of the interviews, they send this woman in
while he's being interviewed about his match.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, that's going on, and she takes off all her clothes, and she said they said she had a little boom box and everything, and she played it. She brought her own little show with her, and she played it, and she took off her clothes and stripped.
I think we're alone now.
Doing Tiffany.
Doesn't seem to be.
I think it's more of a Debbie Gibson experience, isn't it?
Either one. It doesn't matter. Both of them were in Playboy, too.
No, I know.
Just, and I owned both of them.
Well, Debbie Gibson's more innocent, so it'd be funnier.
Is it?
Yeah, it'd be funnier, I think, with
Yeah, I guess so.
Whatever the hell
Tiffany
she's
was fucking on a canal beach.
Yeah, Tiffany had and she was doing that 60s song about teenagers fucking. Debbie Gibson's 48. She still hasn't made a song about fucking, probably. You know what I'm saying? She just seemed... She was like Pretty Blossom, basically. I'm going to put a hat on and go to the mall. It was just weird. Very strange.
A baggy shirt.
Yeah. So this woman comes in. She puts on Electric Blue or whatever the fuck Debbie Gibson song she wants to listen to there. She puts that on and starts doing her thing, and then she ends up blowing Marty.
Oh my God!
In the studio. Oh. Now the thing is here that everybody kind of cleared out when this was going on. They cleared out of the studio, but they're not cleared out completely. They're all in the control room because the camera's still running. The camera's still running for the interview, so they're just watching Marty get a blowjob and commenting on it and cheering on it and all this type of shit.
Okay.
So yeah, this was.
Happy
First
birthday.
of all, why guys want to see another guy get blown, I'll never understand. Hey, Marty's getting blown. Let's watch. No. If Marty's getting blown...
I'll never understand hiring a hooker and then being like, can we stand by?
That's what I mean. I don't understand that.
Anything that she's going to do right now.
So somewhere out there, though, is footage of Marty Jannetty being blown by a prostitute with the AWA backdrop in the background, which is beyond priceless. Anybody who worked for them back then, if you're not dead or whatever, God, if you have this footage, please put it out there somewhere.
I have upwards of $60 for you for that day.
Blur her out, but I just
I don't want to see anything.
I don't want to see any of it. I just want to know it exists. This is some debaucherous shit in a nice Midwestern office here. So, turns out Vern Gagne's daughter, who was also kind of worked in the company there, ended up coming in shortly after that and hearing what happened and didn't feel too good about it. Basically did not want sexual acts taking place in the television studio.
Weird.
And she was a little conservative, I guess. I mean, strange. So,
wrestling stars getting blown at work? No?
Yeah, I mean, so Marty got in trouble for that, but it doesn't matter because they're trying to get out of there anyway. Vern Gagne tries to hold them with contracts. He tries to make everyone sign these 2-year contracts. He's basically going on a downhill journey to out of business land in about 3 years.
Oh boy.
So he's trying to get basically he's good at making new talent and bringing them in, Vern Gagne. He'll do that. They get popular like the Midnight Rockers, and the WWF goes, I'll take that guy, and that guy. And they pluck them out and you're left with shit. So that's what they were doing. So he's trying to lock everybody down with contracts, including the Midnight Rockers, and they end up going to the WWF and not signing that contract.
Really?
Kind of pisses Vern Gagne off. They burn a bridge there, so they better be successful in WWF. Yeah. And they're not at first. Let's see what happens here. They have a bad reputation. They're known as partiers and ribbers, and they're getting blown in front of the television camera and stuff. That gets around the business. It's a gossipy business, just like comedy.
Sure.
It's the same thing. So they're known as this. They have a reputation coming in that these guys, or like people will talk to them when they first get there and be like, hey, I know you guys are, you guys got to keep it down a little bit here and you can't be as crazy here.
No open blowjob.
Yeah, they're like, shit. What? But in their mind, they did nothing any crazier than anybody else because everybody's insane back then in wrestling. Yeah. I mean, there's guys cooking dogs up and feeding them to people. Like, this is mild.
Doesn't Mr. Fuji work here?
Yeah, and he did the whole time.
What
like,
the fuck are we
talking about here? Relax. So, Yeah, so they're in Buffalo, New York for a TV taping. It's their first big TV taping for WWF, and they're going to go, that'll air and whatever. So this is also, by the way, their first day there in the company is the first day that the WWF begins drug testing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is the first day. So they walk in day one to a big meeting of, we can't have this shit anymore. This was a month after the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan got arrested together with coke in the car.
Yeah.
So there's a good guy and a bad guy with coke. All of these things are bad. So open containers, a little bit of weed. So they begin this drug testing this day. And guys basically don't think that they're humble enough. They think that they're cocky. They think that they're high on themselves. And they are.
Rightfully so, too, kind of.
Yeah, that's true. But the WWF was one of these, they call it all the wrestlers say that was always a Shark Tank, basically. Like, everybody eats each other alive. It's very competitive. The guys are huge, all of them. And a lot of guys are trying to bury you to get above you. Back in the day, it was a very competitive environment. And, they said they didn't think that they were humble enough. They would come in and wrestling's got a weird thing where they all before and after every show back in the day, they'd all have to shake each other's hands. Whenever you come into the locker room, whoever's there, you go around to all of them and shake hands with them. Before and after even if you're on the same tour.
That's how you get COVID.
That's what can you imagine now doing that? Hey, get the fuck away from me, dude.
Fuck this job.
But imagine having that in comedy. Imagine if every time you went to, somebody went to the Comedy Store, you had to go say hello to this comic and that comic, and you had to have them ignore you and treat you like shit. That's the thing. The wrestlers would shake your hand and say something. These comics would be like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
So comics are a little bit different. So they right away are like, whoa, this is a weird vibe. Like, guys don't seem to like us, and I don't know what to do about this. So they try to kind of stay away from the guys to not get in trouble.
Right.
Whereas all that does is piss everybody off more, that they think they're too good for us now. Basically, whatever you do, they're going to find a way to say it's negative. Until you're there a while, you pay your dues and everybody gets used to you. That's the way it is. You could walk in, the greatest guy in the world, humble as shit, bringing everybody donuts, and they'd be like, who's he fucking think he is with these donuts? It's
what are those, glazed?
Yeah, what a fucking guy.
Jerk.
What a jerk. So they say they stay at a different hotel than the rest of the guys so they don't run into anybody. So they're told by a guy in the office that they should go out to the bar with the rest of the guys that night. Go down, be seen, have a couple of drinks, hang out, show that you're not above anybody, and everybody will think you're fine and whatever. So they go out, and they said it was crazy because these are all a bunch of the big, wrestlers of the time and all these famous guys and everything. And they end up getting into a, long story short, they get into a little thing with a guy named Jimmie Jack Funk, who's a kind of a second level. He's not related to Terry Funk. He was they used him as a third brother, as a cousin in a tag team.
The worst.
Yeah, Jimmie Jack Funk, by the way, when I was 8, I had a nightmare that he was in my closet. I swear to God.
It's a terrible dream.
He had this kind of like a Lone Ranger mask and a hat, and he came to the ring with a noose.
Oh my God.
And as an 8-year-old, I don't know why.
He's not a good guy to be in my closet.
Yeah, and he was a shit guy. Anybody would beat him. He was a loser. He was a jobber. But, as a child, I remember waking up at 8 thinking he was in my closet and checking to make sure he wasn't in there. So this guy comes over and he says, I hear you guys are big partiers and all this. And this is Shawn Michaels' version of the story. So I hear you guys are big partiers and all this and, whatever. So he said, can you do this? And Jimmie Jack Funk bites a piece out of the glass he's holding.
Oh, my God.
With his mouth. Yeah.
That's not partying, man.
So Shawn Michaels takes a glass and breaks it over his head. Great. There, I'm crazy. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Just trying to... He said, quell the thing. Great, that's cool.
And now he's bleeding.
So apparently Jimmie Jack Funk got pissed off over all of this. And there's all these rumors that they end up leaving the bar. And there's all these rumors flying around that Marty and Shawn tore up the bar.
Oh, Jesus.
They tore it all up. The next day, they go in to do TV taping. And they're at in the cafeteria getting food. And Jimmie Jack Funk comes up to him and he says, oh, so you think you're a big fucking star? And he starts yelling at Marty, saying, I hear you guys said I'm nobody and you're going to be big stars and all this shit. And so Marty's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand this. Yeah. So they went out, they did their match, and as they're leaving, Vince McMahon stops them and tells them not to party anymore. Yeah. Straighten out and calm down. And I heard what happened. And they were just like, it won't happen again. They're scared of Vince. He comes in, hey pal, how you doing? Yeah. I'm going to tell you one thing. So so they think, okay, everything's fine. The next day they come in and Vince fires them.
The very next day.
They get fired.
They
get a phone call saying that they're fired, and that's that. He says, what you guys did was wrong. They end up like paying their own way to go meet with Vince and plead their case. And he goes, oh, well, it all sounds great and all. And maybe that's true, but I got to fire you. Basically,
still fired.
He said, nobody likes you here. And they're not going to accept you now. So maybe in the future we can try again, but have a good one, guys. So they gave up their whole gig.
Oh no.
And now they're fucked because now they just lost this big job that they have here. So not a good thing. So they end up in Alabama.
Yeah.
Not where you want to be. Even back then in wrestling, it was kind of dying. The Fullers down there, they said they made $700 a week apiece.
That's not bad.
It's okay for the 80s, but that only lasted a little while before the territory couldn't afford to pay their guarantee. Apparently, they have an incident, according to Shawn Michaels' book here. The reason why they leave here is that there's an autograph signing, and a girl asked Shawn to sign her denim jacket for him and turns around so he could sign the back shoulder. And he instead writes, I am a dyke on her jacket.
You asshole.
To a teenage girl.
Why would you do that?
Not cool.
No.
She was like, oh my God.
She's losing her mind.
Yeah, to see this guy, and he does that because he's a dick.
Yeah.
He's the same dick who throws fucking naked women in the hallway. So
I guess she's lucky she still got her hair.
Yeah, and not a cock drawn on her face.
Right, and her dignity.
Yeah, she can always throw the jacket out. Right. So apparently the guy running the promotion here got mad at Shawn Michaels and said, you can't fucking do that. And said, you guys are going to have to leave. You're going to get fired. Here's your 2 weeks notice. And they said, fuck you, we're leaving anyway. So they leave there too. So they're kind of shit out of luck here. Vern Gagne ends up taking them back into the AWA because at least there's known and everybody is fleeing the AWA like it's on fire. Yeah. Like there's nobody left. It's bad stuff.
And it's lesser pay, I'm sure of it, because they're desperate.
They are. Yeah, that's the thing. The shows in the AWA now are drawing nothing. You go to a show and there's 800 people there. There's nobody there. So they're not making any money. They have a little feud with the original Midnight Express in AWA with Paul Heyman involved in that thing. They work in a little drop in Memphis as bad guys, actually. They turn them heel, which is weird, but they're fighting the Rock and Roll Express. So it's like Bizarro. Yeah. It's like they're like the Bizarro Rock and Roll Express, basically. Like you could look at them almost like Superman.
Right.
That's what it was, Bizarro.
Luigi and Waluigi.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So finally they end up being accepted back into the the WWF. Yeah. WWF takes them back, and this time they're there for an extended run. As a matter of fact, Shawn Michaels never leaves. He's still works for them. He doesn't wrestle anymore, but
he still makes money.
He's still there, in the payroll in some way, shape, or form. So they wrestle a lot of matches, and they're way smaller than a lot of the guys. That's what you have to look at. These guys are 230 tops. WWF in the late 80s they're all huge. Right. Everybody's big. Even the other tag teams. Big Boss Man and Akeem are a tag team. They're 800 pounds combined weight and all this shit. They're huge guys. So it's really hard for them to establish themselves there. They have to really be good as a team and make quick moves and all that kind of shit. So they never really get in the championship picture to be tag team champions until finally in 1990 they say they're going to give the Rockers. By the way, they drop the Midnight and just call them the Rockers in the WWF.
And that's with the blue and silver shit on their chest.
Well, later on they have it's very fluorescent at this point. They wear fuchsia or bright lime green spandex with all sorts of bandanas tied around their wrists.
They're
and
the
ankles
Ultimate Warrior minus face paint.
Yeah, kind of, but just more flashier, less. The Warrior had a different thing. Their stuff was more hey, look at me. I just, a Duran Duran video just exploded, and here I am,
The things on their arms were fucking weird. The things that they'd tie tassels and shit.
And they had around the wrists, they had wristbands and bandanas and all sorts of accessories. And this was the point where Shawn Michaels had huge, puffy, bleached, frosted blonde, fucking puffy hair.
Much.
Oh, like a mane.
Yeah.
I bet he wished he had that now. I was looking at that just going, man. If only.
I shouldn't have dyed it so much and it wouldn't have just broken off.
Why'd I do it?
Then I took a nap and it all fell off in my sleep.
And then my eye started going in a weird direction, which is strange. No, when did Shawn Michaels' eye get crooked? Wrestling fans, I don't know, because I kind of got out of it in 2000 or so. Was it after that? When did his eye kind of crook a little bit? Because if you see him now, you're like, holy shit.
Think it's brain damage, or do you think it's I
don't know,
retinal tear?
No clue, but it is there is one just looking.
Another one.
He's looking at Georgia with one eye and fucking Michigan with the other. And I'm like, how do you do that?
Maybe too many tag team matches. One eye was watching each dude.
I guess, man. So 1990, they are set to win the titles. This is a big deal here. They have a match with the Hart Foundation. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match. That is Jim the Anvil Neidhart, by the way, and Bret Hart. And what they do is they're set to win the match. Midway through the first fall, the rope breaks. The top rope breaks in the ring. Yeah. And they don't fix it. They just
got to keep wrestling through
They just keep wrestling. They try to work out a match around this shit to do this, and this is taped for TV to show that they won the belts. Right. And at the end, they win the belts, and they decide not to show the match because it's too shitty because the rope broke, and they don't get the belts. They take the belts back, give them back to the Hart Foundation, and they're like, yeah, maybe later, and then they never give them to them again.
Oh, those bastards.
So they got fucked just because a rope broke. It had nothing to do with them. This is what I mean. Marty is just cursed.
Yeah.
Some things are his own thing doing, and some things, I mean, you come up in a white trash shit alcoholic family, can't help that. Some things happen you can't help at all. You can help dumping a girl out into the hallway, but you can't help this.
He's a self-saboteur, but don't worry, the world hates you too, Marty.
Yeah. It's like, if the world don't get me, I'll get my fucking self. I know it's all coming. So yeah, they never got it again. So December 1990 comes around, and this is not good.
Yeah.
There's a wrestler named Chuck Austin. He was a construction worker, and he got into wrestling in 1990.
Yeah.
And he was wrestling, small territories and things for about 6 months. Just learned. I mean, he probably had 20 matches or something like that. Not a lot of experience. And they hire him in the WWF to be a job guy. And on TV back in the day, they'd have matches where the good wrestlers would beat up the job wrestlers, beat up the, lower guys. They'd have 2-minute matches, and it would show the stars would get to use their finishing move, and it would show off how impressive they were.
Yeah.
And they'd roll the other guy out of the fucking ring, and you'd never hear from him again. Yeah. And they just hire a bunch of guys as meat for this, new guys basically. And that's Chuck Austin. He's just, he's meat. And he was working a construction job, and he started wrestling in 1990. He did a little time in a wrestling school, and so he finally they have an event in Tampa at the Sundome, the TV taping, and he's there, and it's him and Randy Savage's brother, Lanny Poffo, the Genius, as a tag team, him and Chuck Austin. They're going to lose to the Rockers. Okay, now what ends up happening, the Rockers have a finishing move called the Rocker Dropper, and it's Marty Jannetty's finishing move always. What this is let's try to explain this to you. If I took your arm and twisted it like an arm wringer, and they stand there like that. Okay. And then not behind the back, not like a hammer lock.
Right, it's out to the side.
Out to the side, yeah, okay.
But it's twisted over, and then I'm stomping my feet, acting like it hurts like hell.
Exactly. Right. Now I have you like that. You're bent over.
Right.
Okay. You're bent at the waist over with your arm out like that.
Yep.
Now I would take my leg and jump up with my leg behind your head.
Yep.
And drop on top of you to the ground. You fall on your face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would do that. You do a flat flop on your face, and dude will land on top of you, kind of like a reverse leg drop, but from the
arm bar
and Marty gets to jump up, and it looks cool. And then when the guy's down, Sean will jump off the top rope and hit him with something.
God damn it!
And that's the end of the match.
Yeah.
That's their big finish. You know what I mean?
That's a big one.
It's spectacular. It looks cool. Shoo, bang! He falls, flips,
and then the new guy,
Sean, bang! Comes.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's what they did a lot. They did a lot of teamwork. A lot of I tag you, you go up to the top rope, I hold him, you do this, tag back in, do this shit. Very entertaining to watch. Quick shit.
Okay.
Like holds up now. You could watch Rockers matches now and go, that's pretty exciting actually still. It's still fun. And there's a crowd there, so you might want to watch them actually rather than WrestleMania. So anyway, the way you're supposed to do this is you're supposed to fall directly flat on your face.
Right.
Call it a pancake bump.
Yep.
But you're supposed
it's
to
just splash.
Yeah, you're supposed to just go straight down, and the guy takes care of you on the upside. This guy didn't do that. This guy instead tried to dive and do a roll forward, which made him basically dive with his head straight into the canvas.
Oh, with fucking Marty's legs coming right behind him.
Yeah, rather than go flat, he tried to take a roll with it, and he literally, I mean, you can see it, he just drove his head directly into the fucking ring as hard as you can do it.
No.
Breaks his neck.
Oh, shit.
Broken neck. Now, at the time, they don't know his neck is broken. They have no way of knowing because he's supposed to act like he's fucking out anyway. So unless they know the guy, or nowadays they have a different thing. After a big move now, they have a little thing where they squeeze you. They have a little thing, the ref will come over and make them squeeze.
I'm good.
Just to let you know, hey, that went the way it's supposed to. Like this is me pretending to be hurt type of thing or whatever. So that happens. They don't know it. So Shawn Michaels then jumps off the top rope onto him, then rolls him over to pin him because he's on his stomach. Rolls him over to pin him. This is all with broken neck.
Doing more damage.
As he rolls him, you can see his legs don't turn. Yeah. His legs get wrapped up together as if you know what I mean?
He's paralyzed.
Yeah, if you were rolling over, your legs would go, they'd stay straight and they'd go over, but his legs just roll together.
Twisted.
Yeah, because he has no control over them.
Jesus.
By the way, this is for $150. His job is to take this, to lose $150. And that's what happens to this guy. Not a lot of wrestling experience and things like that. He caused injury to his 4th, 5th, and 6th vertebrae.
God damn it!
To be badly damaged. He was he could have taken it any other way, but he took it the wrong way. He says, quote, "When I hit the mat, I knew my neck was broken and that I was paralyzed." That's what Chuck Austin said. And he laid on the mat, and for a while they didn't know anything was wrong. Then when he wasn't moving, the referee noticed he wasn't moving.
Yeah.
Went over. Obviously, he's not okay.
Yeah.
So they called in the paramedics.
Hell yeah. Now we got a show.
It takes a while, though, for this to all happen. Show. They didn't air that at all.
No, but I mean, the people that are there are like, oh, this is awesome.
This is real. So they pull him out of there, and later on he'll end up getting out of a wheelchair, but he'll have to walk with crutches. He's in horrible pain. For years he can't control his bowels or bladder very well.
God, Jesus.
And has pain all over his body,
for the rest of his life.
For the rest of his fucking life. Over this incident.
Wow.
Marty this isn't his fault. I mean, he did the move like he did the move to everybody else a million times. Right. This guy didn't know how to take the move, and we'll talk about it. There'll be a court battle about it. And,
I hope so.
Marty told him how to take it. Said, it's fucking same way I told everybody to take it. And flat, right on your face, and that's it. It's the easiest thing in the world. And the guy didn't do it like that. And so, I don't know. I mean, he might have thought, and the thing is, the guy might have thought maybe it'll be more spectacular for me if I do a flip. And that's what or I don't know. Somebody could have told him the wrong way to do it, but I don't know why they would do that.
Well, nobody
wants anybody's neck to get broken, so you wouldn't tell anybody to take it different.
But he's trying to figure out spectacularly, my arm's twisted. If I roll with it,
it might be cool.
It unrolls the arm, and I get slammed. It'll look cool as shit. I get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my name rather than listen to people and tell you how not to get hurt.
Well, how else does the arm unroll? That's probably in his head what he's doing.
Yeah.
But it's when he fucking lets go.
Because as he lets go as they fall. So that's how it works. So who knows? So obviously this is, Marty said he feels bad about this, but he didn't also, because people were blaming WWF and blaming him in particular. He's like, I fucking told him what to do, and that's just, if you can't take a fucking simple move, that ain't my problem, basically. Like, feel bad you're hurt, but I didn't do it to you. I didn't do anything wrong. You did something wrong. That's the other thing, too. If you hurt a guy and it's your fault, you better be nice to him afterwards, but if they did something wrong, it's really not your fault, kind of thing.
The other part that scares me is Shawn Michaels coming off the top rope while you're laying on your stomach.
Broken neck.
That could break your goddamn back, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, normally he does it, it's a working thing, and he does it so he doesn't hurt you, but if he hits you a little bit while your vertebrae are damaged, you're fucking...
It's fucking shatter everything.
Oh, yeah, he could have been even worse.
Oh, boy.
Crazy. So they go on. The Rockers start to have a little problems amongst themselves, more Shawn and Marty. They've been traveling together for 5 years. Every day, in the car, on the plane, same hotel room, matches. They want to kill each other.
God, same hotel room.
Same hotel room. And this is with also drinking and partying every night. So you're going to have beefs that you don't even know about over drinking. And so one night, they're all hanging out, and it comes to a head. They're in a hotel room, and Shawn Michaels tells a little bit of the story in his autobiography that Rowdy Roddy Piper was fucking with the guys. He likes to wind up the young guys.
Of course he does.
And he was fucking with the guys, and he had Michaels and Jannetty there, and he saw they're a team, so he told Michaels, and it was true, but he was doing it just to fucking rib Jannetty. He told Michaels that obviously, that he said, Shawn's I think a guy like him's the future of the business, whereas I don't see anything in Marty over here. Right? So he's
a maniac.
He was just doing it. And Shawn apparently was taking this seriously, like, oh, really? Tell me more. So it pissed Marty off. So Marty said he wanted to fight Shawn now. I'm going to fuck you up. And Shawn didn't want to fight, really, because Shawn's not a real fighter. Shawn, over the course of his career, gets beat up on the outside of wrestling so many times it's not even funny. by people at bars. He's always getting his ass kicked.
Like guys with day jobs.
Oh, yeah. A group of Marines at one point. So pulled him out of a fucking car and beat the shit out of him.
That's awesome.
So anyway, it didn't matter. This big fight breaks out in a fucking inside the room, and it spills into the hallway and into the lobby of the hotel. Jesus. Sean and Marty, tag team partners, beating the shit out of each other. And we're talking about drunk grown men fighting. They're both covered in blood. Wow. Their shirts have blood. Their pants have blood all over them.
Yes.
And they're in the lobby of a decent hotel.
Hell yeah.
They're in like the Marriott lobby having an all-out brawl, right?
With blood in their shoes.
With Roddy Piper and Randy Savage looking on, as we'll talk about. Roddy Piper's watching this. The cops show up.
Yeah.
To arrest them for fighting in the lobby of a hotel like maniacs, right? They start cuffing him. Randy Savage runs up, Macho Man Randy Savage, who, if you're very young, you might not know who he is, but he was as famous as you could get.
It's
at
the
that
Slim
point.
Jim guy.
Yeah,
you know
slap into a Slim Jim. Right. Like, I mean, he was as famous, and he was so popular. Yeah. Everyone knew him. So he came in, guys, and all the cops were like, oh shit, it's the Macho Man.
Is that Macho Man?
Yeah, they were all like, oh, cool. So he goes, guys, fellas, officers, I got to talk to you. And he goes, I can't talk to you in front of the people. Come over here out of the side of the crowd. He goes, this is an angle. He goes, this is part of our work. Michaels quotes him saying, this is part of our work. We do storylines. This is what we're doing here. And the cops go, they're both covered in blood.
Yeah, sometimes some British Knights need to be filled with blood.
He goes, you guys got to keep this to yourselves. He goes, but it's all fake. It's all blood capsules. He goes, it's all blood capsules, brothers. He goes, that's what we do out there. You see a match. He goes, none of that's real. He goes, come on, guys. What are you thinking here? And they're like, really? And he goes, yeah, guys. He goes, please. He goes, don't tell anybody about this. You're going to blow the whole thing, and this is how we make our living. And guys, and tell you what, but this is not real. This is all a big thing for the ring. And they came over and they fucking
undid the cuffs.
I'm
so sorry, boys.
I'm sorry. And they go, oh no. He goes, I'll tell you what. He goes, guys, guys got kids. I got to give you all autographs. So he's giving autographs to the whole police force for this one's kid, and give one to Sergeant so and so. He stood there for an hour signing autographs for these guys because they said, they get on there. He said, once the cops leave, Randy goes, all right, come on, guys, let's go back up to the room and clean you guys up. Like, good job, basically. Right. He takes some arm around him. They get in the hotel. They get in the elevator, and Randy's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Jesus goddamn Christ, you're going to get fucking arrested.
You made me pull that shit out of my ass. You're lucky it worked.
But how smooth is that?
He goes,
guys, shh, I got to tell you something, brothers. This is secret stuff here. It's fucking great. So, let's give... the next night, or the next morning, Marty wakes up after this fight, and I got to do an in their own words on this one, because this is fun. We'll do in their own words. Quote, Jesus Christ. I woke up the next morning. I look over, since I used to party a lot, and I'm like, oh man, this is the ugliest girl ever. She had pits all over her face. Come on, man, what did you do? I'm thinking. Then they yawned, and I looked, and it was Roddy Piper. He took me
no, what did I do?
He took me to my room so he'd stay away from the fight. I love Roddy. He's my brother, but he thought that was the ugliest woman he ever slept with. Holy shit.
Who is
what the
she?
fuck did I do?
God, this is the biggest cock I've ever seen.
5 o'clock shadow on her. So, so over this whole thing, basically Michaels wants to break up the tag team over this whole deal. And this is where you get the whole, tag team breaking up. And basically Marty says, well, let's quit here and let's go somewhere else. Let's go to WCW. There's a big discrepancy over, Marty and Sean have completely different tellings of how they were going to do this. Sean says he told Marty he didn't want to leave. Marty says Sean told him that let's quit and go to WCW. So Marty called to get something set up, and then they weren't quitting. Then when he got back to say, hey, we quit, Sean was already telling Vince, I'm staying, Marty's quitting.
Oh, damn it.
So he's saying Sean backstabbed him and fucked him over.
I'll bet that's true.
We don't know how true it is, but based on all of Shawn Michaels' behavior, I fucking believe it.
Yeah.
Or he did something worse that resulted in this. Either one.
Either way, one stayed, one went.
It was bad. Yeah. So, one stayed and one, basically they wanted to have them break up, do an angle where they break up as a tag team and then have a big feud, because one doesn't want to see that. Yeah. That's the best feuds going.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing.
So they want to do that, and basically they tell Marty, when this is all over, we should see Sean being a superstar, and we see you being just kind of a middle-of-the-pack guy. Enjoy.
Marty.
So Marty said, can I try to change your mind? And he said, Sure thing, pal. Go ahead. Yeah, knock yourself out. Okay, no problem.
Get in there.
Get in there. So they end up breaking up, and they do this famous angle with Brutus Beefcake. He had this interview segment called The Barbershop.
Yeah.
Had a big window, barbershop window.
Oh, boy,
they do a thing where the rockers are arguing, and then they make up, of course, and then Marty's like, yeah, everything's fine, everything's great, and he's smiling, and Sean kicks him in the face and then throws him through the barbershop window.
Perfect.
That's the angle of their breaking up now.
Actually, it's kind of a brilliant idea.
It's fucking
that's
great.
Where conversations happen all the time.
Yeah, and it was
especially some that are going to anger people. It's a great place to
throw him through the window. Yeah, if only Brutus Beefcake wasn't the one doing it. So they're going to have this big. This is set up to be a big thing for Marty, where he can, if he does really well, he can establish himself as a single star, and everything's great. And then some problems happen. January 25th, 1992. He's at the Yucatan liquor stand.
Yes.
Which, I mean, obviously, one of the finest establishments in all of Tampa.
Yeah.
Obviously. So, God, Florida's trashy. You know there was roosters running around out there.
Boy.
Everywhere.
Did you know that they are fucking thriving in Tampa right now?
Of course they are. There's no people.
That's what I mean.
They're taking over the streets.
Yeah.
You should have got rid of those motherfuckers when you had the chance. Now you're not going to be able to drive. They're going to be taking over your restaurants.
Thought you had an epidemic before.
Yeah, now you got fucking roosters. Oh, that's creepy as shit.
They are going to be real bad now.
I'm thinking about, what about the rats in New York? They must be fucking running amok up there.
I'll bet you could. The roosters are getting fucking. You can almost ride one to work
Christ,
now.
They're going to get aggressive,
They
too.
are so big.
They're going to get aggressive because they're going to start.
The tails are, James. They're taller than the heads now.
Clean it up, Tampa.
It ain't going to happen now.
Christ almighty.
You're going to have to hire a rooster to clean up.
You got to go through there with just a fucking, I don't even know.
You're going to have to appease the roosters and give them a 401k because they can revolt and then it's all over.
I guess so. I say you hire teenagers with a pickup truck and a golf cart and tell them to just go around hanging out the window playing fucking rooster golf. I'll tell you. Why is that funny? That's cruel and terrible. But something about some Florida kid go, I see one, speed up. Come on, Chuck, speed up. I'm going to get him. Give me the 5 iron.
Give me that pay.
I knew that's what you're...
Give me your good Big Bertha.
Hold on now.
I need the Callaway for this one. He's big.
Oh, give me the pitching wedge. I'm going to take his head clean off now. Pink got him.
Give me the pitching wedge. We're going to eat this one.
We're going to eat him. He's a big one, motherfucker. So he's dodging roosters at the Yucatan liquor stand.
Oh, Jesus.
He is with a woman this night. A woman named Angela Ilachi, I think her last name is.
Probably.
Ilachi. Anyway, Angela. He's with Angela. Angela's 19 years old.
Oh, God damn it.
Which is crazy.
It's fine, but it's legal. It's just not fine.
It's not fine. And also, they're going to the Yucatan liquor stand, which doesn't sound like they let underage people in. He says she was a dancer at what he called a dollhouse. So she's a stripper.
The dollhouse is a strip club in Tampa.
But he says a dollhouse. So maybe one of the dollhouses.
There may be several
there. May be a chain.
I could see it.
I'm not, It
was north or south.
I don't know. One of them. Maybe
Dollhouse North.
Clearwater. I'm not sure. Shit. I don't know. Fort Lauderdale version. I don't know. So he says he claims that he didn't know she was underage. Okay, this is where his story kind of falls apart. He claims he didn't know about the underage. She's like, well, I mean, she's a stripper, so she must be 21. 18 probably, but I don't know. So he says, and this is conflicting stories, he says that she used a fake ID to get into the bar, and that a lot of people were there and it was crowded, and used her fake ID to get in, but started acting up in the bar, basically acting loud,
like a teenager that can't handle her booze,
like a teenager taken to the Yucatan liquor stand. Right. So he said they were having a good time, and people might have known she was underage because Marty was there. They didn't care because Marty's a famous wrestler and all this type of shit. But the problem is that there's also a conflicting story that says that they never even got in the door, that she tried to get in with a fake ID and got called on her shit, and they got thrown out. So we're not sure which one of those it is. Either way, whether it's for no reason inside the bar or because her ID was rejected outside the bar, Angela starts acting a fucking fool and going crazy and making a scene and yelling at people and hitting people. And they were told they had to leave. So they said they were gonna leave, and it's at this point though when they go to get out to the parking lot, the police are waiting for them.
Of course they are.
And the police asked Angela for her ID, and she didn't want to give it to them because she had a fake ID, which is another charge. So she didn't want to give it to them. So the cop reached for her pocketbook, and she tried to yank it away and turn away, and they threw her on the ground, as they do when you try to get away from them. Just a thing. This is on the concrete. Marty at this point claims that the cop grabbed her by the hair and banged her head off the road. Okay, that's what Marty claims. So the cop fucking cracked her head off the concrete one shot. So he says that this was a big giant cop too. Big guy, 240-pound guy, and his woman's like 100 pounds here. So he said this made him pissed off, so he tried to go pull the officer off of her, which is never okay.
That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. In real life, anybody but a cop in that situation, good idea. When a cop's doing it, that just means now they're going to beat you up too.
Right.
You're not going to win.
Document it.
Yeah.
And go to his superior.
There's you don't have a phone back then.
Good point.
That's the thing.
And it's your word versus his. He's bigger.
He's going to go.
You know what he does.
Yeah, this drunken asshole wrestler came up to me, thought he was tough or whatever. So he tried to pull it off of her, pull the cop off of her. Two other cops were there, and they saw Marty, touching a cop. So they jumped in.
Yeah.
He said that he didn't hit any of them at all. He said, I didn't punch anybody. All I did was, quote, prevent them from beating me up. I don't know how you do that without hitting someone.
Is it just defense?
I don't know if he because he could probably hold him. I'm sure.
Did
or
he rope-a-dope him?
Who knows? He's an amateur wrestler too. He could have probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
he boxed a little.
They have their ways here. He said the cops were, quote, a bunch of wimps and they couldn't do it and they got pissed off about it. That's what they said. So I don't know what that means about that. Then he also said later on, quote, the Tampa Police Department are a bunch of assholes publicly.
You're lucky you didn't get shot, you dipshit.
No shit. So after they get everything under control, they search them. And of course, Marty's got a gram of cocaine on him in a twisted, a tied up shitty sandwich bag, like we talked about last week.
In the corner?
Like someone gave a sack of jizz of. Yeah, on Love After Lockup.
So gross.
Just a jizz sack full of coke. Now Marty claims that it was Angela who got found with the gram of coke in her pocketbook, but they both get charged with possession of cocaine, so they probably both had a little cocaine.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So it turns into a big fucking deal. Obviously, they charge him altogether with cocaine possession and also possession for assaulting a police officer as well, which That's bad. You don't want to get charged with that. That looks bad in court. So Jesus Christ, this is fucking ridiculous. Eventually, though, when it goes to court, they drop the assaulting a police officer thing because none of them had any marks on him or anything like that. He's instead charged with resisting arrest and obstruction of justice, which are both felonies.
Yeah,
so that's something.
Good.
No, and so he ends up in court a lot. When he comes to court at one point, when he's in court, there was a bunch of people there, and they all knew who he was, and like even the lawyers asked him for autographs for their kids and shit like that. Judge didn't like that.
No.
Judge not into wrestling, and Judge had made statements to people that she was, quote, sick of pro wrestlers being portrayed as role models when they were troublemakers, she thought. So
she lives in Tampa for sure.
She lives in Tampa around a lot of these guys.
She's had enough of this shit.
Yeah. So after all this, the Angela girl, she gets a slap on the wrist, gets a year of probation. I would call that a slap on the wrist. That's
good.
It. Year of probation. Done.
Possession?
For possession and for all this whole thing. Now, Marty, on the other hand, he gets 6 months of community control. You, sir, may fuck off.
Yeah.
6 months of community control, which is like house arrest.
Yeah.
But he couldn't go anywhere to or from work. That's why it's control. Once that was over with, he would be on probation for 2.5 years.
Wow.
That's a lot. And also had to pay what he called just a shitload amount of fines and do 250 hours of community service.
He got banged.
Yeah. And also had to submit to a urine test every week for 3 months and then bi-weekly for another 3 months and then random testing for another 2 years.
Sounds like that judge recognized him
I think
as somebody that dropped her outside a hotel room door when she was in her 20s.
She starts going. You can still see see the outline of the Sharpie on my face. You can still see the cock written on my face.
That's a girl who's still growing out half her hair.
Yeah. Still a little shorter on one side than the other.
She is furious.
Marty didn't help himself in court either. Afterwards, they said, after the sentencing, he said, is there any way I'm going to get AIDS from this? And the judge says, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I just got fucked.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty fucking funny, though. I like that. It's very 1992 to say, am I going to get AIDS from this? You just fucked me.
Because you just raw dogged the fuck out of me.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So once this happened, he's released by the WWF.
Yeah.
They say, have a good one, asshole. Right. He's on house arrest for 6 months. You can't travel around.
You're useless to us.
You're useless, and it's bad publicity.
Yeah.
Lucky for him, though, by 1993, right back in the WWF. God. He's the most hired and fired guy probably in the history of the company, Marty Jannetty. Something about him Vince likes for some, no matter what he does, no matter how bad he fucks up.
He has a wrestler
always brings him back. It's just, he always brings him back. I don't know what it is. Because when Marty, you see interviews, when he's contrite and humble, he just comes across as just like this injured puppy. Like he's just like, I don't know, man, I'm just trying to, try my best. And he just seems like he just needs help. You just want to help this guy because he's a disaster. I don't know what it is.
The judge didn't see it that way.
No, she saw him as anything but that. So when he comes back in 93, I'll go through this quickly. They do a pretty cool thing with Marty Jannetty saying that he can beat anybody, and he's the Intercontinental Champion. Shawn Michaels is by this time. So he's turned into a big star. Right. He's got a belt and everything, and he's, Michaels is in the ring saying he can beat anybody and all this shit. So what they do is they send Marty Jannetty in through the crowd. Pops out like he was in the crowd. Like, can you beat me, motherfucker? Yeah. And they're like, oh shit, it's him. He had a Guns N' Roses shirt on.
Yeah.
So
that's real?
Yeah, he had a Guns N' Roses shirt on. He comes out, he's like, hey, what's up, motherfucker?
Yeah.
So something happens. He ends up hitting Sherry instead of Shawn Michaels, and the way the whole thing breaks down, Sherry Martel. And so now this is a big feud. He actually ends up well, we'll talk about it. They have all these great matches. They're supposed to have a singles match at the Royal Rumble, Jannetty and Michaels. They obviously should have good chemistry because they work together forever.
They know each other.
They have all these great matches leading up to the pay-per-view and all these house shows where they're kind of practicing their match. Right. It's going really well. Everybody's saying, man, this is going to be such a good match. And apparently didn't go so well the night of the match. It just wasn't as good as they expected it to, which is weird. Jannetty said, quote, we went down and got that match so good with 3 days ahead. That night in Denver, which is Sean and I's town, we had that match down so good we never slowed down and we went for 20 minutes. So that was the night before the Royal Rumble. So they end up having this match, and apparently Vince McMahon didn't like it. Vince McMahon told him he was very disappointed in them, and all this type of shit. They thought the match could have been better. So apparently, Shawn Michaels tells Vince McMahon behind Marty's back that the match sucked because Marty was drunk in the ring.
Oh, you bastard.
Marty was fucked up, and that's why it wasn't good.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So since he's the champ, he's a big star, and Marty's just coming back in the company, Vince believes him. And Vince says, Jannetty said, quote, Vince the next day at TV called me into his office and said, I heard you had been drinking and just wasn't there for that match. I have to let you go, and I have to let you go. So he just fired him.
Unbelievable.
Right there. Again. So, yeah, and he said it was bullshit. He goes, both him and Shawn were out. They were both fucking hungover. And, if it didn't go, it was no more anybody's fault than anybody else's fault.
Right.
They just thought sometimes matches just fall flat. It just happens sometimes. So at that point, he was pissed off. Eventually, though, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, ends up brokering the whole thing and telling Vince McMahon, look, I think fucking Shawn was drunker than Marty was, and I think Shawn lied to you and all this shit. So they end up bringing him back. They rehire Marty again. This is like the fourth time. They rehire him again, and what they do is they make Marty beat Shawn for the title on TV to punish Shawn.
Proves that Shawn's a liar.
To punish him.
How does Shawn still have a fucking job?
Because he's talented.
Wow.
He tells Vince...
He's such a cunt.
Bruce Pritchard on the Something to Wrestle podcast always talks about how Shawn says shit to Vince that no one else on earth can get away with. And for some reason, he'll be like, you're fucking blah, 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 and yell at him, and Vince will just go, you're right. Have you listened to him? He's right. And he's just like, what the fuck? He can do no fucking wrong for some reason.
Some people just get away with shit.
Shawn Michaels was known as the biggest asshole in the business in the 90s, and Vince just kept, he loved it. Because that's what he is. He's an asshole too, and he's like, I love this. He reminds me of me.
Yeah.
He's an asshole just like me.
In him.
Yeah. I would bury my best friend to get a step ahead too. This is what you do. So they do that. He ends up that it was only for a week though, and then Shawn wins it back. It was just to punish Shawn. Then Marty kind of fades into the background. He ends up tagging with the 1-2-3 Kid, who's Sean Waltman, Six, and X-Pac, and all those different names. And they actually win the tag team titles.
Really?
Yeah, they do, versus the Quebecers. And that only lasts like a week, I think, 4 days, I think, and then they lose him back again. But he's got some titles. Now, June of 1994, Chuck Austin is in court. And Marty disappears from the WWF for a while the court proceedings are going on. And
don't represent us.
No, well, they're suing. This guy is suing both Titan Sports, which was the parent company, Vince's company. Also, he was suing Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty individually as well in this lawsuit. He's seeking untold millions for his paralysis and everything like that. On the stand, he gets Bruno Sammartino to testify, who's like the biggest legend in the history of the WWE and a very old school guy. He's also very bitter toward the wrestling business, Bruno is, if you hear him talk at all. Great guy, but just bitter about the wrestling business.
He's about to tell some truth.
He got up there anyway and talked some shit. He said that this is on the wrestling stand. He said that the sport has, quote, gone bananas, which would have been funny in his Italian accent.
I like it.
It's gone bananas. It's gone bananas. You have no idea. He says that I look at it as rather bizarre. I don't think it resembles wrestling very much at all. He said that all the flash and all this type of shit. And he was testifying that basically the company was at fault for not teaching this Chuck Austin more how to take this fall. He also says that he tries to really bury wrestling. He gets up there and he says, look, now with the use of tricks and lighting tricks, and they use soundtracks to sweeten the crowd noise so that way it seems like that people
like a bigger show.
But yeah, he says, quote, that gives the illusion of the popularity of wrestling, which let's not act like wrestling wasn't popular.
Right.
Like, calm down, Bruno. I love Bruno, but fucking relax. He said that he wasn't taking a fee to testify. He's just doing it to fuck Vince McMahon because he's mad at him, basically.
Do they also use a mirror to make the crowd look bigger? What
that's
are they
the thing.
About?
Yeah, well, they would. They did have certain tricks they would do, but not because it was empty.
Sound?
Oh, they piped in sound all the time. Fuck yeah! If you watch any WWF TV from the '80s, it's all sweetened sound like crazy. Really? Oh, it's so sweetened like a motherfucker. Yeah, they just pipe in. You'll hear like a big cheer, and the crowd in the background, everyone's just sitting still. No one's even clapping. Like, who's cheering? Where are they cheering? But yeah, they piped it in. That was a big deal. So it sounded good. They didn't pipe it in the arena. They would just sweeten it on the track to put it out on TV. Mm-hmm. So now he says that Bruno says that he thought that everybody was a little bit negligent about the whole thing. He says that Chuck Austin agreed to participate in the match before he was ready, and that's also his fault, that he should know what he needs to do. He also says that Jannetty was negligent because he didn't do everything he could to protect Austin from getting hit in the head. That's what he said. Now, Austin testified that he didn't know the rocker dropper or anything. He tried to say that he didn't know participation in the sport could be dangerous.
Oh,
your ass.
You're an idiot.
That's bullshit. If you're a grown man and you watch a man pile drive another man, you go, well, if he fucks that up a slight bit, that guy's got a broken neck. It's pretty clear. Yeah. Like, everything is safe to a degree of, anything errors cause problems and someone will get killed. So
a man being picked up by his neck and tombstoned it's not good.
No.
And how else?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
If you're not real careful, you can't bounce a 250-pound man off his head with his body weight on top of him. That's going to be bad for everybody.
All that specific guy has an accordion spine?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
It's bouncy. It's like a cartoon character. It's
very springy.
They also get Killer Kowalski to testify.
Oh, Jesus.
He testifies about this. I don't know why this has anything to do with it, but he testifies in the 50s. He fucking put a flying knee drop on somebody and caught the guy's cauliflower ear with his knee and took his ear clean off his body.
Jesus.
He said there was blood spurting all over the place. And he said that he got yelled at for it. And he said, so what? These things happen.
What? You're just Van Gogh man.
It's Killer Kowalski.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah. So the judge ends up dismissing Shawn Michaels from the lawsuit. His attorney argued there was no evidence showing Michaels did anything to cause the injury. Might have worsened it after he jumped on him, but he didn't have anything to do with the initial thing. He slammed into him, but Jannetty was the one who took him to the mat. And they said that the Rockers both testified that Austin had been instructed 5 times before the match how to do the move. They kept, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. They also brought in like sample wrestlers. They brought in Dean Malenko, who was a wrestler. They brought him in to demonstrate in court how to do the move. They show him doing it and getting up and being fine. Look, if you do it like this, look at me. I'm great. Did it 5 times in front of them and don't feel a thing. Looking, just to show that he fucked up. The jury ends up judging that the World Wrestling Federation is 90% negligent for the accident. Marty Jannetty is 5% negligent, and so is Chuck Austin. He's also 5% negligent for not knowing what he was doing. They award him, you, sir, are awarded $26.7 million.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, WWF has insurance for this type of shit, but that's a hit.
Does he get 90% of that?
No. That's the WWF is.
That's their
is
portion.
responsible for 90% of 26.7 million.
That's what I mean.
Marty Jannetty's responsible for about $1 million on his own, which we don't think he ever paid. I think it went to judgment. Yeah. And then Chuck Austin, obviously can't pay himself.
Right.
So they awarded him $20 million for his past and future medical expenses and lost earnings, and his wife Holly was awarded $5.5 million, and their 2 sons got $500,000 each.
Right. So his wife Holly got $20 million.
Basically.
The man's paralyzed.
Yeah, he can walk on.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not going to Tahiti with her.
No, we're not having a lot of fun anyway. Let's go. No, we can't go jog on the beach.
Why don't you sit in that hammock and I'm going to go get some rub downs?
Yeah. No shit. The bottom line, the judge said that it was ridiculous to get your $150, you had to sign a thing saying that you were signing your waiver, basically, but that waiver wasn't like a legal waiver.
It's the
can't
same
legally
as,
say I'm not responsible for something you're responsible for.
It's the same as a trampoline park. You're signing a waiver. I can still sue the fuck out of you.
Yeah, they're still responsible.
I get hurt here, you're still fucked.
If you did something negligent, you're still fucked.
You're still suable, you assholes.
Yeah. Chuck Austin said, quote, "They saw the truth. That the truth came out in spite of everything that's been going on there." WWF appeals, of course, and the appeal's pretty silly, though. It doesn't really go anywhere. And I don't know what the final number is, but they ended up having to pay over $20 million for this whole thing. Which is pretty fucking crazy. So at this point, Marty kind of has to lay low. Yeah. He's out. He's in the ECW for a while, which we've talked about a lot. That's where New Jack and shit wrestled. That's the Extreme Championship Wrestling, which is a very not Marty's thing. Yeah. I cannot tell you. I've seen some of the shows with him on them. I can't tell you how out of place he looked in this. He's still got his Rockers gear on, the spandex things with the stripes and the bandanas. These guys are coming out with fucking ripped jeans and combat boots and chains and shit. They don't look like they're fighting the same fight. It's really strange. He fights the Sandman for the title at one point.
Really?
Sandman, we've talked about as, these Zuba pants and a t-shirt. He smokes while he fights. He drinks a 6-pack before the match starts, and he hits everybody with a kendo stick. And he's fighting Jannetty, which is just strange.
He's fighting a guy that looks like he just came out of Michael Jackson's Beat It video.
That's what he looks like, yeah. And he actually has a match against Jimmy Snuka in '94 here, too, as well, another alum. Then he goes back eventually, September '95, he's back in the WWF. He has a pretty decent run all around. He fights the guys from the Body Donnas, which are Tammy Sitch's team. Mm-hmm. So Tammy's involved in that too. It's all intertwined here. He wins the MTW heavyweight title. Yikes. That's fun. Then after this in '95, he teams up, or he starts a feud, with the 1-2-3 Kid, who again was his ex-tag team partner. Great. Very exciting here. Also, they form a team called the New Rockers.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. The New Anything is always bad.
It's always bad.
Him and his partner, Leaf Cassidy.
Yeah.
It's a terrible name. It's Al Snow, the guy who had the head thing. You know who Al Snow is?
No.
Yeah, they called him Leaf Cassidy and put him in this.
Too.
Not good. Not good at all. Nothing really worked out for him. The New Rockers sucked, and Marty ends up quitting because he doesn't feel like he's going anywhere here, which I don't know what he's quitting for. Collect your paycheck. Yeah. He works through them pretty much all through 96, and then in 97 he does a little bit more with ECW. He ends up signing with WCW, but he has an elbow injury, and that run doesn't last too long. He does have some matches against good people, though. He's Dean Malenko. He gets beat by Chris Benoit. Yeah. He was alive afterwards, so not the worst loss ever against Benoit. Conan. This is a who's who of crime and sports wrestlers here. Now, on July 10th, 1999, he's arrested in Florida, which is mainly where he always gets arrested. He's arrested for unlawful speed and driving while license suspended and a DUI. So he's driving too fast with no license and drunk.
God damn it.
Not great at all here. He's found guilty for this later on. There's going to be more, though. He keeps wrestling through all this. He's fighting Sabu. He's fighting AWF. God, what the hell was that? I don't remember what that was. Oh, the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view he was on. Jesus, that's terrible, too.
Like a Legends one?
It was bad, dude.
Lord.
It was bad. Not good stuff. It's known as one of the worst things ever.
Oh.
Fights fucking Tatanka in 1999. Jesus Christ, that's not good stuff. Then in December 99, rounds out the year with a nice visit to the police station for unlawful speed, DUI, and this DUI was at 10 a.m.
Wow.
10 a.m.
That is impressive.
Dude, he was speeding drunk at 10 a.m. That's fucking awesome.
He probably hadn't had a drink in like 12 hours, though.
That should be an extra charge. If you're drunk before noon, that should be like from the time the sun comes up to noon, that's an extra charge if you're drunk. I'm sorry. You're trying hard to be that drunk. You can't be drunk then by accident. You didn't just have a few and it got a hold of you.
I don't know. Sometimes you
got up with
you wake up from in a strange woman's bed and you're driving home. And
that might be it.
I've done it a few times where I'm like, I could certainly get a DUI right now. I haven't had a drink in hours.
10 a.m. Yeah, I can see it happening. But he's arrested again. So all sorts of shit here. DUIs. This is when every time he goes out, he gets in trouble because he constantly has. He has no license. Yeah. So every time he gets pulled over, it's a DUI and it's no license. This is all in Florida.
Oh, no.
He just hangs out in Florida the whole time.
He's Florida man.
He fucking is Florida man. Continues wrestling. He's in all sorts of, this is some of the wrestling leagues. TWA, WCWO, MWA, NWL. This is all just...
These are all bad.
Pop-up, fly-by-night wrestling places for the most part here. Then, in June 11th, 2004, which is a good time here, June 11th, 2004, he hasn't been wrestling in a while. 2001, and then he kind of disappeared for a while. He pops up by getting arrested for operating a vehicle while driver's license revoked for habitual offenses, and also a DUI, drugs or alcohol, third violation within 10 years. He's got that as well.
DUI, well, having a suspended license for a DUI.
Again, for the third time. Again. So, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
After this, he actually tries not to drive for a while. Because, I mean, what the fuck are you going to do? He tries not to drive. He tries walking.
Yeah.
First of all, the roosters around Tampa were getting to him.
Riding a rooster.
He's riding a rooster. He's like, Jesus Christ. He finally found an area of Tampa with no fucking roosters. He's like, Jesus Christ, I got to walk here. God damn it. He was kicking him out of the way. It's very difficult. And just one day, he's walking by. He's in this other neighborhood, and he sees it. He just hears, Marty! He turns around. He's like, who the hell is this? He looks up in a doorway, and it's Estevez Jones, MMA fighter and 70s blaxploitation film character.
Fantastic.
And he says, motherfucker, how is it you come to arrive here, motherfucker? Now, I got questions for you. Now, listen, Marty, I call your ass Marty? All right, Marty, sit down for a minute, motherfucker. First of all, First of all, I got you surprised. You should be surprised to see me. It took everybody in that motherfucking van to keep Vince McMahon from coming in this bitch. I'll tell you what, man. That motherfucker was like, yo, I'm gonna get to him. He was like, yo, tell that motherfucker Marty. You know, he talk right and shit. He'd be like, yo, you tell Marty that, he'd take his shirt off and shit and put some overalls on. I don't know what the fuck that dude was talking about. Fuck, you want overalls on, people, some corny ass shit. I was like, yo, fuck you, Vince McMahon. So Dexter, he'd be talking to him. Dexter's the only one know how to talk to that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'd be tripping. Anyway, Marty. So these women, right? You was drugging them. You just drug them up. Then you make them not look pretty no more. Shove them the fuck out in the hallway. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Shaving their head and shit.
Saving that motherfucker. What? You a sucker, man. What the fuck you doing? Them women, you drug them all up. You could have sold them to every motherfucker on that hallway. Everybody knock on the window, just prop them up like Bernie from that fucking stupid ass movie. Be like, yo. $5, you know what I'm saying? It's all profit. We don't give a fuck, right? You dumb motherfucker. You suck. I'm leaving. Poof. And in a poof of leopard print.
Yeah.
And all sorts of shit.
Weekend at Bernie's DVDs. He's gone. Yeah.
And Marty is very confused.
I'm sure.
It's like, what did I take? That was weirder than waking up next to Roddy Piper. In 2000.
Jonathan Silverman signed autographs.
Yeah. In 2005, I found a newspaper ad for the Blue Water Championship Wrestling where it says WCW versus WWF Dream Match. And it's Buff Bagwell versus Marty Jannetty, which has never been a dream match anywhere.
Nobody's dream at all.
Nobody's dream.
It's a nightmare.
That is awful.
And I'm paying for this? This is a nightmare indeed.
Yeah, it's bad stuff, man. In 2004, things get bad for Marty. He starts to have a little bit of a breakdown. Mm-hmm. He gets super depressed. He starts calling his friends and family and telling them he's going to kill himself.
Oh, no.
He's like, how you doing? Yeah, I'll kill myself now.
Just starting to regret all those things I did to women in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm feeling bad about myself. So word starts to get around about Marty's hard times, and Shawn Michaels ends up calling him. Mm-hmm. They haven't talked in a long time, and they parted on bad terms. Yeah. So he ends up calling him, and it's at that moment that Michaels, this is right after Michaels became a born-again Christian.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Shawn Michaels now, everybody that know him says he's the nicest. He couldn't be more of an opposite person than he was. Yeah. He was the worst person to the nicest person in the world. But like, this apparently was good for Shawn Michaels. He needed this shit. He was an asshole. But he's a born again Christian now, and he said that, Marty, come and I'll help you, basically. So he takes Marty and gets him baptized. Yeesh. And he gets baptized by the Heartbreak Kid, which is fucking hilarious. And also not only does that, he talks to Vince McMahon for him and gets Marty into the WWF again.
Back in
again. Michaels was in a feud with Kurt Angle, who will have his own episode someday. And they were going to have this match at WrestleMania. And what they did is, before that, they did a Rocker reunion in 2005. They had Marty and Shawn wrestle a match together as the Rockers. And he said they called him up and said, hey, would you be interested in this? And he said, I'm like, hell yeah. I'm broke as fuck.
I got bills.
I'm calling my fucking friends I haven't talked to in 10 years, telling them I'm going to kill myself. That's how low I am. Bet your fucking ass.
I got a judge. I don't even have to go to court, and she just calls me every day to laugh.
It's just funny.
I just answer the phone. There's a judge laughing at me.
So he says that after that, he said everything went well. He said this led to him being offered a contract by the WWE. And he said that Shawn Michaels totally got all this done for him. He says, quote, Shawn owns Vince. We don't need to know why, but John Laurinaitis, who was VP at the time, came up and said, Vince liked you so much, sign this. And it was the biggest contract money-wise for me. It was a nice $500,000 for a year. So that's the contract he's got before him. He said, then I had some legal problems come up.
Yeah.
And he does. He is, while this is going through, he has $500,000 on the table. He instead has a domestic incident with a woman, a little domestic disturbance. And while he's arrested for disorderly conduct, eventually, not a domestic thing, but it's stemming from a domestic incident. He's arrested for disorderly conduct, and he is unable to make the show that he's scheduled for, so he gets fired.
Oh, no.
Because you can't make a show, your shit can. So you don't, just no call, no show because he was arrested.
Do we know who?
It was domestic violence with his girlfriend.
Oh, you son
with his girlfriend.
Bitch.
But they didn't know. It ended up being a disorderly conduct was the actual charge, so I don't know exactly what the deal was with it. But either way, he beat Buff Bagwell by DQ for the Blue Water Championship Wrestling. We got that going on. In 2006, also, he was, again, they were going to do another Rocker reunion with Marty Jannetty, but he couldn't show up without breaking his parole that he was on, or his probation, so he couldn't.
So he didn't go.
He wasn't allowed to go. So he's allowed to go other places, though, because in 2006, in March 14th, 2006 to be exact, they pull him over. Turns out he's got a warrant out for him.
Oh, no.
Also has no license there.
And he's driving.
He acts a fool when they pull him over, too, so he gets a disorderly conduct on top of that. DUI, no license.
And he's drunk again?
Or on something.
Yeah.
We don't know what. It's a DUI, it says.
Probably pills.
Who knows what it is. So he's doing all that shit again. In 2007, even though this just happened in 2006, WWE wants to sign him again. I want to bring him in again. Why not?
Unbelievable.
Dude, how silver is Vince McMahon?
The luckiest man on earth, too, by the way.
I mean, Jesus Christ. So they say they want him to come in. They want him to work on the work, and they also want him to work at the training center training some of the new guys. They want him to kind of bring the new guys along because he's a good worker, he's solid, and he's a nice guy. Bring him along. But what does he do? Fails a fucking drug test for them. They go, all you need to do is pass this drug test and you're hired. Sure, no problem. Nope, can't fucking do that, you dumb shit. So at that point they were like, okay, I mean,
wash your hands of him.
You gotta wash your hands with him. It's at this point, Marty just keeps saying, look, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
He goes, I try. He goes, I've tried to undergo treatment, but it doesn't work for me. He says that one time I beat up my counselor because, that's what you do in rehab. And then another time I had the exact opposite problem when I fucked my sex addiction rehab counselor. So
I either fight him or I fuck him.
One of the two. So I love that, though. He's for alcohol abuse, he beats the guy up, and for sex addiction, he fucks her. Like that, that's amazing. Whatever it is, he's like, "Oh, you're not supposed to do that."
Right.
I thought, hey, you're supposed to get shit faced and show everyone how bad you get when you're drunk. That was the point of the whole meeting. I thought sex addiction was to see how low can you go.
That's awesome.
Exactly how gross will you get? So he's wrestling all around for a bunch of bullshit too. At this point, he's in like just EWF, UCW, all this crap. In addition to, like I said, the 15th anniversary show in 2007, 15th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. He has a match. They bring him in to get beat by Mr. Kennedy there. So again, it's back to the indies.
He's like 2 rungs below finding out how many 8-year-olds he can wrestle at once.
That's what I mean.
He is almost there.
He's in all these indies. I mean, some of these indies, it's different people, it's different names of different guys every night. Just not wrestling for the same one, and it's like a month apart, 2 days apart. One is AWR Wrestling, Wrestling Legends Tour, EWF, CWNY, just all sorts of these weird. Martin Nolte, he's fighting. He fights.
I thought it was Martin Nolte Wrestling.
This is a funny name. Yeah. He fights a guy. He teams up with Sabu, who's crazy, to fight a guy named Duncan Disorderly, which is hilarious.
It's pretty good.
And it's spelled DUNKAN. That's pretty fucking funny.
I like it.
That's good shit there. In October 2009, they bring him back on Raw to make an appearance, and he loses a match against The Miz, that dipshit there. So he continues to wrestle the indies and God, these indies, dude, they're just so fucking sad.
Yeah. There's no money in it.
No.
Oh,
and he's the
draw.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Beyond the Mat?
No.
It's Beyond the Mat is documentary about all this, and they show Jake the Snake Roberts washed up in the 90s going around to these indie places and then staying in some shitty hotel. It's ugly, bro.
Brushing roaches off his pillows.
We're talking these places they're wrestling are, these little 200-seat places with folding chairs, and it's not good, man. It's not good. 2013 is when he does that interview where he's super weird and has to be fucked up and gets mad at the guy for fucking cutting it for him. So he's having a bit of problems here as well. All through this time, his ankle is messed up.
I'm sure.
There's an interview that he does where he stands up on the table. Basically, he's standing on his ankle.
Oh,
his foot is going out sideways, not in, out.
Ouch.
That's how his foot goes.
Good Lord.
His shoe's like on his ankle, basically, and he's like walking on his ankle. It's so fucked up. And he's still working now and then, too, like that. And he's upset because he's mad at the WWF because they won't help him with a surgery. He says, I really need this surgery. They won't help me with the money. They say they'll send me to drug rehab for my pill problem, for the pain for the thing.
But they won't fix it.
But they won't fix it. So I don't. He goes, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? He goes, so basically they said take pills and deal with it. He goes, so that's what I got to do. I got to take pills and deal with it. So that's their policy on that one.
That's incredible.
Yeah, you have this horrible injury. It's
You've hired and fired the man 11 times.
Yeah.
Fix his fucking ankle.
He's 100% associated with you. Everyone knows it's bullshit.
I don't know. Maybe they spent ankle surgery paying for that other guy's paralysis.
Maybe. Well, they shouldn't have fucking hired him. Marty didn't find some inexperienced guy.
Yeah.
If you asked Marty, he would probably found somebody better.
You're probably right.
But I don't understand how you do that, though. These guys, I get that Vince is like, well, he didn't wrestle for me the whole time. Yeah. But, dude, you bought wrestling. Right. You own it all now. So you own all the baggage of all those territories you worked for,
you
too.
You don't get to cherry pick shit you own like
all that shit. Yeah. You don't just own their video library and not the responsibility for it. No, you own everything. You own all that shit. If you're going to show a video from back then and make money off of it, that means you own whatever the fuck bad shit happened on that now. That's how it works, asshole. Transferred right to you.
Right.
All rights and shittiness. Here you go, Vince. So, I mean, it sucks, but you're running a business where you got guys hurting themselves who aren't fucking employees for you. Sorry. If that sucks, you've made plenty of money. Fucking spread it around. So
something illegal happens there, that's your problem.
That's right. So it's still better than Dana White, though. So July 2016, that guy's I'm sorry. I've told you many times.
He really is a scumbag.
He will take anybody, and can I make a dime off him?
Right.
He's the worst. So July 2016, Marty's named as part of a class action lawsuit against the WWE, in which the wrestlers incurred traumatic brain injuries. This is the CTE lawsuit here. And the suit was, it had a bunch of old wrestlers in it, and they end up losing the suit. It's dismissed in September 2018. The judge was critical of the lawyer for including information about Jannetty's ankle, which she said wasted the court's time.
Oh, you bastard.
They were trying to show the level of
disregard.
Look at this guy's ankle, and they're like, well, that has nothing to do with his head, is what they said.
The point is, they won't fix that. Clearly, they're not going to fix something you can't see.
Exactly here. So the wrestlers' claims of fraudulent concealment and medical monitoring must be dismissed because of the court's clear holding in the very first of the WWE concussion cases that neither constitute causes under the action under Connecticut law. So go fuck yourselves, is what they said here. She also noted that they're also time barred because none of them had wrestled for WWE since 2011. Well, sometimes CTE takes a while to. So as long as 5 years passes, you're fine. If we can get them out of here and get them to so they still know where they live for 5 years, and after that they can fucking start pissing in their laundry baskets and it's fine.
If that part of their brain goes dark after a certain time,
no problem.
Who gives a fuck?
Fuck them.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Wow.
This judge also dismissed the wrestlers' claims that they were misclassified as independent contractors as part of a scheme to defraud them. She said, quote, these wrestlers must have known of their classification as independent contractors either when these deals were first made or when these wrestlers received tax paperwork within a year of making the deal. That's not the point.
It doesn't.
He owns wrestling.
Know. It doesn't matter if they're an independent contractor or not. They weren't aware that the fucking brain damage was going to be forever.
Yes. Well, that's
how the fuck would they know?
Separate issue, though. The independent contractor thing, they were saying they were also scamming them with that. But it's like you're saying, basically, well, they knew it when they signed it. Well, if you're the only fucking person that can do. The NFL is the only fucking league of football that makes money. Right. They can't just make people sign crazy shit that says fucking, you don't count. Right. If you break your leg, we're just going to have a bunch of people pull you into the street and leave you there. Right. Fuck off. You can't do that just because you said you can. It's fucking ridiculous.
On 4th and 1,
you're still responsible.
4th and 1, every NFL owner should have to be the center.
Exactly. Take that, motherfuckers. Well, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Independent contract. Okay, they tell you when you're supposed to show up, and you have to show up. Yeah. They tell you that who and if you're allowed to wrestle for other people and when.
That's not fair.
That's not an independent contractor.
No, that's an employee.
Independent contractor is, we'll see you for your next match. I don't care what you do between now and then because you don't work for me.
If Popeyes hired a chicken chef and he was an independent contractor, he could go chicken chef for KFC tomorrow.
You can't tell.
They wouldn't allow that.
That's what I mean. You can't tell a fucking. Think about a plumber. Right. You say fucking. Right. You're an independent contractor. Right. But you can only work for me. You can only fix my leaks.
You can only fix Ready Rooters leaks.
No. You can only fix my leaks at my house because I'm independently contracting you to do this. Only my leaks at my house,
and I'll call you when it happens.
But until then, you can go fuck yourself.
You better sit on call.
You better not unclog anybody else's toilet because you are not coming back here if you do. But I have the most toilets in the world. That's basically what it is. Fucking ridiculous. They also asserted that they were coerced into signing contracts that were unconscionable, but the judge also ruled those were time barred, those deals. So they said each plaintiff who signed a booking contract with the WWE enjoyed the benefits of those contracts without seeking legal intervention for years following the execution of the contracts, and indeed years following the termination of each plaintiff's employment with WWE. Well,
because they didn't have forethought to figure this was going to end one day, and then what the fuck?
She even brings up CTE and Chris Benoit. This judge says the circumstances surrounding Mr. Benoit's deaths were so tragic and so horrifying that it would have been reasonable for his fellow wrestlers to follow news developments about him and about CTE through which they could have deduced that they were at risk of developing CTE and sought medical opinions about risks to their own health. So basically they said they saw Chris Benoit's brain was fucked up. They all should have quit right then. If they didn't, it's their fault. It's like, what about all the brain damage that was done fucking before that?
Chris
How about
Benoit
that? Jesus H. Christ.
That wasn't in 1972.
Yeah. She also said that the attorneys wasted time with the ankle thing, Jannetty's ankle, and saying that they, quote, do nothing more than paint WWE as a villain. It's really easy to paint that picture. It's by numbers.
A villain does that to themselves.
It's by numbers, man. It's so easy.
Put a little black over here, put a little gray over here.
3 is green. Look it.
Start coloring.
Yeah. Wow. This is crazy. The judge also ordered that the lawyer produce a copy of her ruling to any other wrestlers he may represent in any litigation against WWE. Like, basically, show them this first, tell them that they're not going to win, show them that I'm on the WWE side, and go away. Wow. He said in a statement, the lawyer, that he stands for professional wrestlers who face the prospect of losing their identity and consciousness to the efforts of a latent occupational disease. The court ignored the pleas for help contained in 60 very personal affidavits written to the judge, filed by each wrestler and their family. The reasoning of the opinion itself is flimsy, as the court finds in ignorance of the facts that there's no reasonable basis for the assertions, despite a substantial body of medical, peer-reviewed literature going back almost 100 years. Basically, the court said, you can't prove that CTE is bad. And if you did prove it, you should have known it. That's fucking amazing here. So the WWE lawyer says that the lawsuit was designed to overwhelm the court with sheer volume to see if there's something worthwhile. That never works, and it didn't work here. So they're all super pissed. So all the wrestlers who are in this suit are out on their ass, shit out of luck, getting nothing for their injuries. At least the NFL had a settlement, and then they're like, oh, fuck you, buddy. And it's almost like, haha, gotcha.
Well, the NFL was on CNN. This shit was never on,
except for Benoit.
Yeah.
When Benoit went nuts, that's all they talked about.
Mainstream media for everybody to understand how bad and poorly these people are treated.
And this isn't just the guys who hit each other with chairs constantly.
This is everything.
You have no idea how many times a guy will bounce his head off the mat, just in terms of you take a slam a little wrong, wrong, bang, that's a little concussion, and it adds up.
A guy that runs, jumps, grabs the second rope with their feet, does a backflip, and slams into another guy. That still fucks your head up.
That's what I mean. Yes, the wrestlers should know that that's inherently dangerous, but the WWE should have protections in place for people who are doing shit that they know is dangerous and they're making the big money off of it. That means that if they hurt themselves, that's on you. I get that in the ring, but then once they're gone, they're fucking gone, unless it's drugs, because that was bad PR for him. Fucking, I mean, it's honestly, it's hard not to feel bad for these fucking guys. Really I do. I feel bad for all of them, Jimmy, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Marty Jannetty, independent market research professional in Paris, France. And Marty Jannetty, talent acquisition specialist at Flamingo Pharmaceuticals Limited in Beverly Hills, California.
What about Marty Jannetty, the gondola driver in Italy?
In Italy. Hey, it's a Marty Jannetty. Hey, how you doing?
Jesus Christ.
How
is there no Marty Jannetty in goddamn Italy, but in France? Jannetty. Some cigarette smoking. What's his name? What is
his name's not Italian. Independent market research.
Jannetty's not Italian?
No, it's not spelled fucking Janati.
Okay.
It's Jannetty.
Oh my God! How is there not one in Germany?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's got all sorts of shit happening here. Now, 2017.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's still out there. He's on social media a lot, by the way, saying crazy shit, doing crazy shit. 2017, he puts up a Facebook post, or I should say, a Facebook post is on his Facebook wall. He says that, he says that in this whole thing that he has fought the urge to have a sexual relationship with his daughter. Who's in her 20s.
No.
He said that in this thing, he said that they are going to get DNA tests to make sure he's the father, and he uploaded a pic of this girl and said, quote, just did a DNA test. She's not my daughter. We both held out of sex because you don't do that, but now we can. And then he went on to describe her as fucking hot. And then he was asking people for advice on fucking her.
No.
He says he was hacked. He's like, I didn't put up that about my daughter. He goes, it's fucking crazy. I actually kind of believe him on this one. He says a little while later, quote, I'm still getting bombarded with emails and messages about this, and fans at live events ask me questions about it. In fact, every damn body seems to have their own podcast now and wants me to go on there and talk about that disgusting post. Of course, I would never think anything like that. It's messed up. Who do I look like? Fucking Buck Zumhoff over here? He didn't say that.
So it really is his daughter?
Yeah, but he's a fucker. That's just somebody. Good. Yeah, he said, it's, quote, it's almost comical that I worked my ass off for so hard to make my name in wrestling, and through the years and years of blood, sweat, and tears, I did that. The Barbershop Window episode with Sean is legendary. It happened over 25 years ago. People still rave about it. Yet one fake BS story has risen right up there with that. It makes me mad because I wonder if in 25 years from now, will they still be saying that pervert who wanted to fuck his daughter?
Fake news!
Yes. So here's his explanation for that, and he puts this on Facebook too. I always tell people on Facebook about losing my phones, which happens a lot. Dude, where's my phone, in parentheses. Well, here's how I know a recent one was stolen and not lost. I got up this morning and saw on my phone I had 8 Facebook messages that came in from 4:30 a.m. when I went to bed and 8:30 a.m. when I woke up. He sleeps like me.
He sleeps 4 hours
Those are
a day?
That's what I do. Those are my fucking hours, pretty much. Jesus Christ.
Lord.
I checked into them, and they were all people asking why I look so sad. There was a pic sent to many people in Facebook Messenger of me looking horrible. It told on the culprit. The picture is of me of a close-up wearing my reading glasses and looking tired as I can be, which I was, but the pic came while I was setting up a Skype and didn't mean to take a selfie. Evidently I touched the wrong place. But I saved that pic to that phone and occasionally look and remind myself that I'm getting really old. Point being, it was just saved to that stolen phone, not Facebook, not my laptop, tablet, or computer. It is in the cloud, Marty.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Just that phone. And I always leave my Facebook open on my phone so that a person was able to go through all my Facebook account.
Well, why the fuck would you do that?
That person must hate me.
Yeah.
Why else would they do that crap? Well, if you got it in the phone, you just open the app. You can get into it.
Right,
why would you leave your phone unlocked?
Right.
Have a lock code on there. Why else would they do that crap to me? My biggest disappointment is no one that saw saw it, caught on that it was obviously fake, and at least asked me about it rather than take it as true. That's true. Hey, Marty, did you write that? Except for a few on my fan page. That's how I originally found out about it. It's a 6-week-old thing. I was keeping quiet about it and so harm, not to harm the investigation. But recently I found out, for some odd reason, newspapers are suddenly reporting on it. But now you all know the real on this. Sorry, Bianca and Wendy, that you're all getting dragged into my messes. I love you all, and this will be fixed. I don't think he did that.
No.
I think somebody took his phone that he was hanging out with. Considering that at this point, his main source of income was doing appearances at local bars all over the United States, dubbing it, quote, Party with Marty.
Oh, no.
So who knows what?
Fuck, $300 and a bar tab?
Poor
fucking guy.
He's like a C-level comic going in, headlining a room that normally doesn't do comedy, but they put a pallet in the corner, and that's a stage now.
Stand there.
One of those,
Let the audience poke at you.
Yeah, 2017, he is still wrestling. Still going around, his ankle all fucked up. He's fighting I've never heard of any of these. FEW, LAW, BOTB. I don't know what the fuck these are. GCW. He's fighting everything here, and I don't know, he looks like he's losing a lot. He fought a match against the Kevin Von Erich, the one lone Von Erich remaining. That's pretty wild. 2018, there was a Change.org petition to get Marty into the WWE Hall of Fame, and it had 251 things, which is not enough.
That's not a good showing.
It's not going to work there.
Yes, they have millions of fans.
Yeah, it's not good. 2018, still wrestling. Jesus Christ. I don't know why he's doing this. He defeated Dr. Wrecking Ball on January 20th, 2018 in Taylor, Michigan.
He needs rent, James. That's why.
Man. Event at Our Lady of Mount Carmel School in Cleveland, Ohio.
That's a Catholic school.
Yeah, it's a Catholic high school gym. That's exactly what that is. At VFW's Cabana on the Whitewater. That stands for Veteran of Foreign Wars.
No.
They are wrestling at a VFW hall.
That is awful.
In Harrison, Ohio, which I don't even know where the fuck that is. Meanwhile, Shawn Michaels has like an 8,000 square foot palatial mansion in fucking Texas somewhere.
And he calls Diamond Dallas Page to just giggle all day.
Yeah, isn't this hilarious? Apparently, that's kind of what the deal was with that. Diamond Dallas Page has talked to Marty before, and apparently Marty does not want to do all that.
Nothing to do with his fucking yoga.
Doesn't want to do with exactly what Paige wants him to do. There's a program you have to follow. Right. Jake did it, and it seemed to work. Marty is not willing to do it. So mid-2019, he puts up a post about this is real. He said this is real later on, but this is about what he's been going through lately. This is last year. Quote, y'all know I play on here a lot, but about to be real right now. I've been partying way too much lately, possibly every day since WrestleMania. However long ago that was, 30 or 40 days. That's a lot. I don't even know, but I need to stop, he says. But it's hard. My personality doesn't allow me to be bored. And for me, going from 350 days a year on the road, over 100 beautiful ladies per year for many, many years, to living in backwoods Alabama right now and only doing shows on weekends, what the hell else am I going to do during the week? Drink, smoke a little plant, and possibly throw a little powder up. Then have sex with all the neighbor girls.
Oh, my God.
That's what he says.
Women. You have to say women.
He spells it with a U and 2 R's. Girls. Girls. Then he says, but it has to stop. 3 exclamation points. I'm not working out right now. I'm not tanning, not studying film. Hell, I ain't doing shit but drinking and fucking. Sorry about the language, in parentheses. And waiting for the weekends. And now I got 3 events this weekend. I'm embarrassed at my own damn self to go do these things in front of my people looking like a pale, white, fat pig. And I think I have a seminar to do. Nothing means more to me these days than teaching my kids. And drinking. But I've partied so much lately, and fucking and powders, but I've partied so much lately that if I stop for a full day, I go into some weird withdrawal shit, and my hands shake so bad I can't even sign autographs right. Yeah, that's what happens.
It's called alcoholism, bro.
And fucking whatever else you're addicted to. And therefore, just like what all I'm doing this weekend starting tomorrow, a baseball game, an all-girls wrestling event, a seminar, a meet and greet for my great friend, some guy, I don't know. I'm going to have a drink on my way through all that so I don't go through withdrawals in front of my people. My heart is talking to me. Hasn't been beating right for 2 days now. Not to scare anyone, especially my family, but just further proof I've got to stop. 3 exclamation points.
Not trying to scare anybody. I'm about to have a heart attack or a stroke or some
3
fucking cardiac event.
Just told my heart I will stop. Just let me wean down so it's not so dangerous.
So it's cool now.
He just bargained with his heart. He's like, listen, heart. Listen, pal, you don't have a heart attack right now. I'll stop. I'm going to wean you off a little bit. And let's say 6-8 months, we're going to be clean. It's going to be fine now. Holy shit. Yeah. He says that...
I spoke to the left and right ventricles. We're good.
Yeah, we're fine. Oh, my God. He then, later on in the year, he says he's doing great.
Yeah.
Now he's doing fine. He says, quote, I do seminars now, and I've had a couple of wrestling schools that have been successful. I'm trying so much to be in the movie industry because I've always said that my transition after wrestling, movies. We already have sort of an acting background. It's crazy now that Vince can do that for you because he's making movies, he said about the movies. He
wants to be The Rock now.
Yeah, that's what it fucking is. He says, that's kind of what, he says that, apparently Shawn Michaels fucked up a lot of the the acting opportunities. Shawn Michaels was apparently on an episode of Pacific Blue, a USA Network show about wasn't that about the people like bicycle cops on the beach?
That sounds right.
I remember the commercials in 1999. And Marty says, they did not like him and they cut all wrestlers off. Like, nope, no more wrestlers. I don't know what he did. The word was no more wrestlers because of how he was on set. Knowing Shawn, I'm like, come on, man. Damn, why'd you do that?
Probably roasted the director's dog on the beach.
Probably. He also says, it's your dog. He also talks about, they ask him, are you and Shawn Michaels on good terms? And he said, quote, we're good. We do signings and see each other. When we see each other, we hug up. He said, did you see, and they asked him he saw Shawn jump a guy. Basically, he said that they talked about joking that never mind. It's a stupid joke. I won't even get into it. He said, quote, we're good. He's not the way he used to be about Shawn Michaels. Excuse my language, but he used to be a dick. Now with his religion and maybe older age, and he ain't got no hair. He laughs at that.
Take it easy.
I don't know what, but he's different because Marty's got a good head of hair on him. He's good now. He's good now, and that's all you can do. Like a guy for what he's become. Spoken like a true Oates. Yeah. You know what? Hall's done on to do really well for himself, and I'm happy. I shaved my mustache, and I'm trying to make my way for myself, but I'm happy for Daryl and everything he's accomplished. It's fine. You know what, George Michael? I'm happy for his solo career. Didn't need anything. Now, so everything seems to be fine. Marty's doing great. Shawn keeps up with him. At the same time, they asked Shawn in the same month about Marty, and Shawn says, quote, wow, I no longer have a contact number for him. There are times I see him, he's great, he seems great. Other times it's less so. It's heartbreaking to me, just as it is to everyone else. I don't know what, if any of us can do in that aspect. He's made a decision on how he wants to live his life. Truth be told, it's not my place or anyone else's to tell him how. All we can do is care about him, and when it's not going well, take care of him. So he's like, yeah, everything's great. And they're like, we feel so bad for him. He's just a pathetic son of a bitch. Yeah. He's so fucking pathetic. And he is, though. That's the thing. He's someone to feel bad for, to pity, to not even mock. Like, Shawn Michaels that did it, he's just like, oh, like, it's just sad. And Jannetty in the same breath almost is like, I mean, everything's great. When I see him, we hug up. It's a lot of fun. And I have a lot of fun. We're all good people and all that shit. There is an Urban Dictionary definition of Marty Jannetty.
No way.
Oh, yeah. He's got his own Urban Dictionary entry just for him. How bad is it? Marty Jannetty, the member of a pair destined for lesser things. Oh. A reference to the 80s and 90s wrestling tag team, The Rockers. Shawn Michaels went on to greatness while Marty Jannetty faded into obscurity. Quote, that guy from Wham who wasn't George Michael was totally the Marty Jannetty of that group. Then there's another one. I don't agree with this. Bob Odenkirk was the Marty Jannetty of Mr. Show.
Oh, Bob
I don't fucking agree with that.
Great.
Bob and David are like me and you. There's no.
It's not the same thing.
It's just a different. Yeah.
And Bob was a part of so many amazing things.
Bob Odenkirk's a fucking genius.
Yeah,
he's great. David Cross is amazing too.
Yeah.
Bob fucking Larry Sanders, Better Call Saul, fucking Breaking Bad. He's amazing.
He's great.
He's fucking great.
He had a TV show with like Spade and Louis C.K.
Fantastic.
All these amazing people. It was not on the air long.
Well, that's what happens. Can't get enough of Marty Jannetty. Well, let's see here. You can go on eBay. I found his figure. The cheapest I found it is in Australia.
Yeah.
The AWA Remco one, 1986. In Australian dollars, it is $150.30.
That's like
there it is, Jimmy.
$7 million American.
It's just that. None of the.
That's
it.
it.
That's it. Doesn't even come with like the little vest thing that came on him.
Looks
or anything.
like Bruce Lee.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
And that's that. And you can get the cheaper ones, the WWF Hasbro ones and shit like that. They have like new reissue ones. He's got a million figures.
Really?
Yeah. Oh God, tons of them from the WWE
and
era.
Nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Marty Jannetty?
Yeah.
If you've ever watched wrestling, you know who he is. He's pretty well known. And if you still can't get enough, he'll be at the Scotland or Comic-Con Scotland in 2020.
Wow.
Later on in the year. Maybe if he fucking makes it that long.
COVID may have ruined his fucking gig.
That's true too. Who knows? But that is Marty Jannetty.
Wow.
That is our WrestleMania special kind of a thing. Last week we did kind of opening season of baseball. This week we'll do a WrestleMania special.
That's a bad one.
He's a disaster,
Wow.
Marty. He's one of the more tragic figures in wrestling. Like I said, the Mickey Rourke movie is him.
Yeah.
It seriously is him.
But he loves to drink and drive.
Yeah, he loves to drink and drive. He loves to do drugs. I guess he just doesn't drive anymore, but he still gets fucked up, and he's just a mess, man. It's a sad case, and we don't, like Shawn Michaels said, like, you know, all you can do is like him when he's good, and then try to take care of him when he's bad. Help him when he's bad, because otherwise there's nothing else you can really do.
My God.
It's fucking sad, man. But I will say his eyes are both straight.
Yeah.
Unlike Shawn Michaels.
Good point.
Less money, but straight eyes.
He's resorted back to beating up couches.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got
what
nothing to do.
he's going to do. I don't think he could move a couch if you paid him right now. Christ.
Just punching it
away. But that is Marty Jannetty. And if you like that, you should get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, and give us 5 stars. That's what you should do. Doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions, following directions. It does not matter, but do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs, merchandise, tickets to live shows. The fall, there will be live shows, hopefully.
Those are happening.
They're going to happen, and things are being rescheduled, so look at the dates and see what's there, and get your tickets right now to that. If you want to be a hero of ours and also have access to our extra bonus material, next week we're going to do another bonus episode on a wrestler, Ken Patera, who spent some time in prison for some truly funny and crazy shit that we'll talk about. He's an Olympian that went wrong, and it's beautiful, so check that out for everyone at the $5 or above level, and also that you can get all of our small town murder ones. That's the prisoner dating games and all those. They're all included in that as well, and the bonus stuff. If you want to make a one-time donation, very easy to do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. Do all of that. Follow us on social media. It's one thing you need to do there. You can find us over, we are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. You can check me out also on P.S. I Hate This Movie, where I'll make fun of bad romantic comedies with my wife, Sarah Hunt, which is a lot of fun. We do that. And I have to say, you guys are fucking Crime and Sports is my favorite. I just have to say, thank you guys. Just noticing, going over every once in a while, you got to go over our audiences, and I go, goddamn, Crime and Sports people are great.
They're very, very reliable.
They're just good people. They're good people. They're there every week. And I have to say, I think, was it on Small Town Murder I had the rant about people not being funny on social media?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a couple messages about that. People getting mad because I said that people aren't funny on social media. I just wanted to say, I really meant it. I really did. I meant every word of it. I mean it twice as much now, because your messages that you were upset about, they weren't funny either. You're not funny. I don't mean that as an insult to you. No. I'm not saying you're not funny around your family, around your... What I'm saying is you're not a comedian funny, because you're not. Just like I'm not as good of a chef as a chef, and just like I don't play basketball as well as a basketball player. People that do things good enough to get paid for them generally are fucking better at them than you. That's what I'm talking about. So you can be funny, but not funny enough to put shit up to comedians and expect us to laugh. That's all I meant. You can put them up, it doesn't make us mad, but we're not going to laugh at them. We're going to roll our eyes and give it a like anyway if you try to be funny. If you just be yourself and be nice, you don't have to try to be funny. We'll have a relationship where you'll be whatever you are and we'll be whatever we are. If you're a butcher, tell us about how nice your steaks are, and we'll tell you a joke, and then we'll fucking go our separate ways. You don't have to be funny. I don't have to know how to cut a T-bone. Everyone's going to be happy still. That's all I was saying.
But I will say that our audience is funnier than every other audience.
They are. I'll give you guys that. You are fucking funnier than other people's audiences.
I've never seen
I like you people way better.
that I enjoyed.
No. Not in terms of social media. So it's just one of those things. And when we say that too, we don't think comedians are funny. No. 70% of comedians aren't funny. So
most
it's not
things
against
aren't
you.
funny.
Most things aren't funny. Most things we say aren't funny. It's very easy to not be funny, is what we're getting at. If you're not a professional, you're probably an expert at not being funny. Right. So stop trying to be funny. I don't know, unless it's around your wife or kids. That said, we have to say thank you for everything you do for us. And we have a list of producers who we have to talk about because, man, these people are the heart, soul. They're the earth. They're the hard earth floor, man, and we fucking love them. Sure. Our Patreon people, our PayPal people, our shout-outs, our producers. Jimmie, I need it. Hit me with it like I'm diving into the mat head first.
This week's executive producers are Liam Krause, Erica Anderson, Rachel Sherwood, Misty Donahue, Joe Bonacore, Isabel Griffith, Derek and Lavinia Adams, Jacqueline Hall, Guido Van Veen, Marcus Polite, Janine Fennel, that's what that is, Tanya Volanek, Cynthia Watson, no, that's Dotson, damn it, Cecilia Carter, this is going to go bad today, Melissa Turner, Danielle Butcher. Thank you guys so much. We can't do this without you guys, truly. Quickly, Walt Murray, he's been listening to us for like 3 years. He lost his mom, and he would go visit her, and she's been battling. But he'd visit her, and then they'd talk about the shows and stuff together, and he would make her laugh. So thank you, Walt.
Cool.
Thanks for having us be part of your journey.
Yeah,
that's,
man, thank you. That means the world to us. It really does.
Yeah, man. And then Lonnie Hall lost her pup. Sorry, Lonnie.
Oh, sorry,
she's one
Lonnie.
of her friends. Hang in there. Then we have Joanne Potter. Damn it. Jana Holbrook. And the rest of our producers this week are Kathy. This is going to be long. Kathy McAleer, Fiona Hollier, Grant Brand, Isaac Stemple, Danny Tapkin up in Minnesota. Thank you. Taylor Gay, Ant Rios, Shane Messer, Josh Thomas. Toombs, sorry. Christopher Valdez Frank, Keely Marshall, Tamara B, Donna Thornton, Elizabeth Jones, Talia Talia Bruin, Jared with no last name, Sarah Schmidt, Amanda Dixon, Ashley Grenier, Nicole Ayers, Madison Grant, Farrah Khan, Brett Trace, Lexi with no last name, Fake Hay Garner, Craig McLaughlin, Richard Tower, Joe with no last name, Ashley Keeler, I said that, I think. No, I didn't.
Yeah, again.
Brianna Worth, Rebecca Beckenston, Kristen Merrick, Joyce Lewis, Kate Falconer, Riley Yetter, Laura Malone, Tony Dodson, Mark Davis, Liam Trainer, Kristen Appier, or what is that? Appier? I think. I'm so sorry. Apgar. Alex Lee. No, G. Is that, what is I'm sorry. John Quinlan, Sarah Jessen, Brian Tucker, Cody Walker, Mazel, Paul Steinbach, Andrea Rowe, Kent with no last name, Zoe Otway, Josh Guido, Victoria, that can't be right. It's got to be right. That's what I wrote. Victoria Stoddard, Mikey with no last name, Jody Tristan, Aaron with no last name, and that's Airen, okay. Rebecca Smith, Aleel Hadfield, Lily Whitaker, Rachel Presley, Evelyn Weaver, Michelle Smith, Brian Killian, Brian Haynes, Tash Rossi, Gay Foch or Foch, Stephanie Marie, Erica with no last name, Matt Pope, Larissa Millhouse, I think, Elizabeth Rankin, Lenita Buchanan, Colin Weaver, Adam Clark, Anthony with no last name, Patrick Griffith, Amber Bonnet, Willika Wilson, probably Willika, April Dependent. I don't know, April. Christopher Bryant. Shay Beaton. Saint Guadry. St. Guadry. I don't know what I did. Stephen Barella. Julie Whedon. Annie Rose. Sorry, Annie. I swear I'll get through all this. Gerald Litzler, Sean Sweeney, Kendall Willitzen, Caitlin Paulek, Christina Bowman Sanders, Deanne Flora, Doug Schroeder, Taylor Milloway, Drew Shanks, Sunil Mukherjee. No, I'm sorry, Sunil. Is that Marcus? Sarah Chapman, Ryan Wallum, Marshall Yararis, Megan Amon, Jenny Orden, Chris Etter, Tracy Arrett. No. Zach Kipfer, Tressa Barrick, Adam with no last name, Ryan Sullivan, John Jeff Boyardi. Oh, I got you. I see your pun. Melissa Delaney, Jason Foreman. Oh, is that Delap? I'm sorry. Keith Kangas, Zach Keister. Maybe, I think. I don't want to call him an asshole. Amy Williamson, Hunter Spendlove, Peggy Simmons, Nicole Palfy, Randy Contrell, Nicole Fordson, Artemis Goris, Alyssa Macer, Drew Meismer, Grover M. What did I do? Latoya Redmond, Danielle Headley, Monica Fitzgerald, Tom Kohler, Alyssa McGee, Tyler Hack, Carolyn Davis, Courtney Murphy, Heather White, Misty Cooper, Ekaterina, Kazakanova. Julia Stikaski, Stakajerski, Dylan Leahy, Sean Mead, Daniel Gehrig, Greg Madgerbelly, Nick Ryard, Caitlin Eisen, Britt Heath, Nicole Bell Ferker, Alima Mitchell, Elena Bloomdahl, Beanie Bro cosplay. Beanie Boo cosplays. God damn it. Doug Sixpence? Oh, Song Sixpence. Is that Sixpence 9? Is that the group? I don't Sixpence. I don't know. Something Sixpence. And I think it's a band. I hope it's them. I want it to be them.
Thank you.
Probably not. Lisa Newman, Kira Donahue, Christine Duncanson, Denise Yard, Madison with no last name, Brett Sloan, Nicole Bethel, Graham Moore, Daisy with no last name, Kimberly J, Sawana Kivara Kara. Probably not. I'm sorry.
Bennett lost in the weeds on that one.
Bennett Williams, Harry Weger, Amanda Schmidt, Leon Fennessy, Megan Wegner, Avery Christensen, Megan no last name, Becca Peters, damn it, Adai Collette, April Washington, Erica Woning. Wenig? Oh, no, it's not. Zach Pearson, Rosie D, Dean Robinson, Tom Blake, Matai, Emily Morgan. I can get that one out. Red Black 77, Miranda Stewart, Lacey Rosser, William Legg, Gabriel Bretska, Savannah Martin, Taylor Klein, Jen Fernandez, Corey Montgomery, Lisa Spiller, Abel Sandow, Emily Shepard, Cassie with no last name, Brad Donovan, Dawn Arden Boyd, Caitlin Rasmussen. She's a CNA taking care of some of the most vulnerable people on the planet.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Tyler Wood, Roxanne Mason, Ashley Allen, David Watts, that's what that is. Kyle Snyder, Emily Addizer, Suze Gaynor, Amy Peterson, Natalie with no last name, Stephen Shepard, Junior Johnson, that's Junior Johnson, Kathy Samuels, Ali Wales, Catherine Haman, Gwendolyn Lloyd, Vince Opidesano, I think. Gwendolyn's last name is Lloyd with one L. You would be very happy about that. There's not two, like the fucking the liars. Holly Hesse, Nikki Redmond Corzin, Jesse Ryan, Jake Kokish, Michelle with no last name, Tina York, Wyatt Deckard, Mike Larson, Shisha Permenter, Chantel Bracey, Allison Ryan, I said that, Sean Addis, Rebecca Blanchard, Alex Johnson, Jessica Schweitzer, Yumi, Carrie Gines, Probably Gines, right? Alex Johnson, I said that. Brianna Doherty, Saskia Viegel, Fiona Taylor, Kelly Rummel, Nina Korzanowski, I think, Danielle Busher, Sean with no last name, Jen Sievers, Chase with no last name, Regina Lee, Galen Harris, Sarah Gibbs, Duncan Layton, Laura Schwartz, Jessica S., Mike Blemine. What is that? Bovine? No, it's not.
I don't
Michael, I'm so sorry. I fucked your last name up. Aaron Hall, Matt Bozer.
I like Bahor myself.
Dines with no last name, whatever that is. Damon Motts, Hillary Skinner, Stephanie with no last name, Basilton Noring, Melissa Shibanui, Sabinui. No, Kim Berg, Mandy McKenzie, Gavin Wallace, Stephanie with no last name, Brittany Borgen, Ken Lippert, Adam Apple, Jennifer Copeland, Jordan White, Leah Smith, Jacob Russell, Tony Rolland, I think that's right. Jordan Bennett, of course, hey. Kathleen Kite, I think that is, or Kellite. I put a whole bunch of letters together. I don't know what they are.
So did whoever made her last name.
Nick Rundy, Summer Ferndly, Andrea White, Jared Crooks, Ola Cerniecki, Jessica Higgins, Victoria Brick Bolick, LaFane Bradford, Aaron Miller, Megan Smith, Matt Wilkins, Rebecca with no last name, Karen Shalene, K Red 827, Chris Robinson, Lenore Bell Macbetha, Jordan Herringer, God damn it, Harriger, Larry Traver, that's not right either, I'm so sorry, Larry, I think, Shawnee Chambers, Alexander Cawthorn, Lindsay Ann On, Align, Ryan Schultz, Matt Sledge, Evelyn Virginia Hogan, Thomas nice. Pinnacone, Jason Christowski, Judd Hall, Devin Axtman, what is that, Brooke Graining, Chase Grotsky, Aiden Smith, Kelly Clow, Ty Yeager, Mercy Silver, Cindy Payne, Cathedra Burton, Jessica Wolkowski, Alpha Janelle Watson, the Cambridgeshire Goatman. I'm not sure what that is. Jamie Fedora, Feeder, Peter Mazzawi, God damn it, Ilma de Blasio, Tamia Ames, Tammy Ames, Regina Clifton, Katie Jeffs, Naylee Bennett, Ben, what is this? Ben Cole, cool, that's what that is. Joe Larson, Joshua Denton, Brittany Peckler, Ryan Thompson, William Dunlap, Allison Hinkle, Adrian Reffel, Brittany Herrig, Dylan LaValle, Tim Lawrence, Eric P., Emma Drury, Eric Rhodes, David Fronicki, Donna Thurman, Nakira, Joe Tassilo, Tiffany Smith, a case, Mindy Bond, Soraya, with no last name, Mike Vanus, Jeff Dalkey, Jenny Blacker, Lisa Wood, Kristen Kriminger, Helen J, Kimberly Ann Cunningham, Jose Aaron Gu, Harrison Montgomery, Colette Bolera, Livawandi, Liquandi,
pardon?
Indu, I'm bad at this. Alicia Wolf, Heinrich Ubenschleiser, Candida, Megan Debus, Homestretch, Rachel Morales, Nicole with no last name, Benjamin Anderson, Luis Garcia, Carl Griffin, James Oshner, Laura Carlin, Angela Ramali, Malik Cooley, Rain is not a bow. I don't know. Rain, not a bow. Got it. Okay. I'm on board. David with no last name, Jay Schaus, Tyler Russell, Tommy Marlowe's, Jamie Brown, Shauna with no last name, Esther Kudrow, Daniel Christ, Kelsey Headland, Chantel Kemp, Andrew Snow, Jurgens Craggs, I think, David Goddard, Ole Gardner Lang, William Keller, Jessica with no last name, BK Britt, Ryan Russell, Danielle Barbie, Jamie with no last name, Tammy with no last name, Andrew Hollier, Carrie Britt, A. Douglas, Courtney Friend, Ryan Noonan, Matt and Angie Cluis, Kelsey Rodriguez, Brian McCann, Nancy with no last name, Samantha Porch, Keegan King, Jamie Acock, Bianca Reinbold, Kathy Chong, Nancy with no last name, River Robinalt, Chad Wilson, Melissa Herring, Jennifer Reilly, Tyler Gardner, Jay Gillis, I think, Andrew Bryan, Kyle Francis, Jack Tapping, no, that's Topping, Andrea Beckman, Mike Shanahan, probably not, Misshapen Maple, Monique Kahn, Nguyen, Ted Cyrus, Aaron with no last name, Aaron Doty, Ben the Wombat Russell, he's probably a wrestler, Quinn Riley, C. Van Buskirk, Ben Beatty, Shay Mitchell, I'm sorry, I don't know how I got Smith out of Mitchell, because I'm dumb, Megan Overbracht, Jonathan Phipps, Bradley Dooley, Patrick Sweeney, Andrea Acosta, Taylor with no last name, Greg Otto, Eric Klein, Crystal G, Tony Sandelin, Connor Forbes, Chris Spackler, that's gross, Brendan, no, that's Brenda Zapowski, damn it, Lassisi, Nanny, Aaron Silva, Joey McIntosh, probably not the one from the band, the New Kids on the Block.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
McIntyre.
Oh, you're right. Who liked him more than James? Nobody.
Yeah,
Josh Aguilar, Nathan Spencer, Jeffrey Osterberg, Alex with no last name, Reverie Revel Fowler, Derek Miller, Byers, what is that? Bars Kahula? Probably not. God damn it. Kylan Page, TL, Sarah Delaney, Michaela Massengill, Wes Crouette, Larry Duffy, Denise Grimhall. I thought I was closer to the end. Ada Kaziniak, Victoria Gabay, Summer Montera, Eric. What did I do? Erica. Oh my God. Carbonell. Oh, that Eric Carbonell. Jonathan Ray Kessner, James Harris, Larry Demas, Maddie Kozanowski. No, Klonzinski.
Something Polish.
Rebecca Schmidt, Ashley Vio, Rach with no last name, Carrie Kirshner, Bug, Maud Author, Darlene James, Danielle Cassidy, Stephanie. Valentine. That's why. Put Stephanie next to Valentine. Yeah, try to say it fast. See if you don't go Stephine. You wouldn't. Sarah Fudge, Tim Plummer, Liz Vasquez. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Reagan Shockley, Louise Rayfield, Wallace Woodwork, Daniel Einerson Erickson. I don't know what that is. Saska Shepard, Mary with no last name, Peyton Meadows, Andrew Dittimer, Jamie Kazurga, Daisy Parker, Michael Stefani, Lucy Stacy, Mike Tolbert, probably not that one. That's Holbert, sorry. Allison Plant, Joe C, Libby Ritchie, Daniel Wheeler, sorry. James Martyr, Rick Beebe, Henry Stone, Louis Tidrick, Tiffany Cronquist, Lori Gravelin, Charles Buchel, Sean Glennon, Miranda with no last name, Brandon Drake, Logan Wells, Johnny Ramey, Amanda Knight, Gary Howard. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it, buddy. He's got a podcast he started. What else do we got here? Destiny Hanratty, Destiny Hanratty, Jill King, Diane Duvall, Amber Walgren, Carl Kusher. What is that? Damn it, Manasat Chatta? No,
Manischewitz.
It's man meat chatta.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means. It could be somebody's fucking with me, maybe. Jody Settle, Daily Vet Bonilla, Diane Duvall, Rena Taylor, Kit Kat, Karen Edgent. Robin Anderson, Centerfire Cigar Rests, Janice Hill, Kim Hegeman, Sarah Mitchell, that's Sam Williams, Amber Lovieri, David Munyon, Nicole Beatty, Brandon Neff, John Allard, Catherine Hillman, also Foy, what is that? God, Alice Foy, Zach Kingley, I don't know what I did, Jackie Sukup, Susanna Platt, Steve Melanowski, that's Steve Schnell.
Hey, Steve. What's
That's
up,
what
buddy?
that is. Adana Timakis, Michael Holmes, Kyle Dunphy, Morbid, Laura Yarnell. What did I do? Ben Coons, Brooke Kale, Paige Sandness, Crystal Hewitt, Brendan Abels, Roberta Beyer, Molly Aravio, Aravalo, Jude Kendall, Stacy Turner, and Mama Needs Comfy, and of course, all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are fucking great.
Thank you so much, everybody, for everything you do for us. Honestly, you guys keep us alive and well, and especially now, man, you guys have it was really great. Thank you so much. We're going to keep trying to work for every dime you give us, and work even harder and even harder as you have to work even harder for it now. So we will too. Let's all hustle.
Specifically, it was dark, grim, and brutal, and this coming week is going to be brutal for the rest of America. It's the news gets worse and worse every single day. Somebody in my life has this goddamn disease, and they're in ICU. So listen, it's touching everybody, and we're all going to know somebody. So
yeah, it's bad. I haven't seen my kids in 3 weeks because of possible exposure there. I can't see my grandmother, who's on her fucking deathbed anyway, because she's in her 90s and not doing well, and no one can go see her. You call her and she cries, "Man, nobody comes to see me," and we're like, "We can't.
We would
Grandma.
kill
We're
you.
going to kill you." And she's like, "I just want to see people. I'm so lonely." And
believe me, we want to see people too.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And
thank you guys for keeping us alive.
Thank you for making this week much easier to deal with.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get through it all together.
Absolutely. And what if they wanted to tell you how you could get through it?
If you want to hate me out loud or via the internet, you can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter and Instagram. It's Jimmie Whisman. On Facebook, you can call me an asshole and tell me how much you hate me there. I would appreciate it. What about you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is Funny, or just copy and paste my name from the show description and tell me that, I don't know, I smell like a monkey's balls. I don't care. Say whatever you want. Doesn't matter. You can't hurt me, goddammit. So with that said, thank you guys so much, everybody, for tuning in, and week after week after week for 203 weeks and live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.